seconds on YouTube and
Yeah, bitch.
Instagram. Welcome to the NXT No Mercy 2024 live watch along presented by Game Up Hard Hydration. We are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. People are finding us on TikTok right now. And Dave, we were talking a little before about what we're hoping to see here. You were calling surprises. What do you think we could be looking at?
Well, like I said off air, I think it's going to be in the women's match. I think we're looking at maybe a Julia from Stardom, or maybe a Stephanie Vaquer who recently came over. But I think that's where we're definitely looking at, like maybe a surprise tonight. Other than that, we'll see. Maybe the other women's match, the NXT North American Women's Championship. We saw Rosemary show up on NXT this week with some kind of relationship with Wendy Chu. Is there going to be anything else possibly of the undead variety involved in that match?
That is a good point. I put up a short earlier saying, does Joe Hendry do it tonight? I know we predicted it on the live show. I believe we had differing opinions on this. And I mean, I see him taking it tonight. I see it being a big thing. And just as I talk about him on the pre-show, he is popping up.
Popping up. I believe. As I'm here.
Now, we haven't done a live watch-along since the start of the summer, and we really wanted to get back into live watch-alongs because summertime is the worst time for us to do anything podcast-wise, and we always see a dip in our numbers. And since it's Labor Day, the unofficial end of summer, we wanted to get back into it, and I'm sorry we weren't able to do the Bash in Berlin watch-along that we had advertised, but it's a busy-ass weekend.
Now, what was the last watch along we did?
That is a good question. You might have to look it up in the YouTube studio.
Yeah,
I got too many tabs open on my computer.
WrestleMania 40 for sure we did.
We probably even did the event after WrestleMania Backlash.
Afterwards. Yeah.
I could see that. I could see us doing TNA event here or there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we definitely were more prominent with these in the beginning of the year. But, yeah, we shall see. It's good to be back in the saddle again, though. Getting ready to call this. We are about 11 minutes away right now for the main show to start. And do you have like a match order tonight? Did WWE talk about who's kicking off? I didn't notice.
I do not have anything official. I have graphics made up for all these matches, so we will put them up when they pop up. I am wondering, in fact, how this is going to go. If I had to guess, I'd say those tag titles kick off the night.
Okay. It's going to be a hot match, you would think. I was thinking maybe Wesley and Zach Wentz could be a good kickoff match too.
I was thinking that as well, but I also envisioned it as maybe a decent come down match from one of these two ladies championship matches. It's hard to call. Anybody in the chat let us know if you'll be watching live tonight. And what was that?
This is, except for Wesley and Zach Wentz, these are all championship matches tonight too.
Yeah, they are. And another reason we wanted to jump in with a live watch along is because we enjoy the NXT product so much. It's definitely one thing that we tend to catch each week.
Yeah.
And I always talk about how deep the women's division is, and that's really evidenced by two ladies title matches on this card. Even if there weren't two ladies title matches, there'd be at least one and then another ladies match or two.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely loved NXT. I loved their women's division. Really, I mean, the relationship with TNA has made it very interesting. So NXT's got a lot of good things kicking off right now. I think I'm curious to see what happens when it goes to the CW, because I know for like you, we were talking about the other day, like, you know, you don't have the CW. Like, you're going to have to see if you can find a way to watch it. And if it's not as accessible, is it going to be an issue for you watching it in the future?
Yeah, when NXT hits the CW, I'll probably be watching it on the app. You gotta wonder, could we see some title changes tonight to get some interest on the product going into the CW? And it's interesting how so much of WWE's programming is moving around, coming into the latter part of this year and the start of next year.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I'll be very interested. I think that we're going to see some surprises as we get ready for that CW debut. I do think we're going to see some surprises tonight. Like I said, I'm thinking mostly with the ladies tonight, but you never know. Like I said, I'm leaning towards Paige keeping the title, because I think the thing with Trick Williams is that him being the referee almost makes it too obvious to me that Joe Henry would win this tonight. But we'll see. I think at the same time, it'd still be quite shocking to see Joe Henry with the NXT championship, even though like you predicted it and we know it's a possibility. It's still a TNA wrestler holding a WWE championship. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, we've got the American Nightmare fan in the TikTok chat saying hopefully there's a Julia debut tonight. That's
I'm with it
definitely
all the way.
one of the ones they're looking to debut. American Nightmare fan has Ricky Starks debuting on the NXT CW debut. That is an
Now that would
interesting
be
call there.
right in Chicago.
We've got Emily joining us on TikTok as well, a subscriber, a follower from way back. We have people watching on TikTok. And if you want to catch the live watch along with us, please stay as we go over to YouTube. We are live on YouTube right now, doing a little TikTok preview for the people. 8 minutes and 16 seconds. Back in the saddle with this wrestling work here this weekend.
This room is doing me no favors too. We got a hot one over here at my house.
Yeah, it's wild that it's the end of summer. It's been cooling off so much lately, but it seems like today is kind of got a humidity run for us.
It's the NXT. Ethan Page has a interview before here. I like this Ethan Page showing up in suits and stuff, by the way.
Yeah, it definitely makes it feel like a big time. It makes him feel like a big time champion.
I do. It brings me back old school guys to like Flair, Charlie with the Horseman, Nick Bockwinkel. Like, I love the heel champion coming out in a suit.
AJ is following us on Instagram right now, watching live with the boys.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Yeah.
It's funny. It's been such a busy work weekend that this watch along is probably one of the best things Dave and I have had going this weekend. I went to a very nice celebration of life yesterday, which I would have to argue is better than a live watch along. But after the Thursday night we had and just the whole summer season, it's nice to be getting back into watch alongs, getting back into more regularly talking wrestling with our fan base.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm again excited for this show to kick off tonight. What match are you looking forward to the most? Like, not counting the world title with Joe Henry and Ethan Page, what would you say is the match you're looking to the most? I think for me, it's Lee and Wentz.
Lee and Wentz is up there. I mean, I would have to say Nathan Frazier and Axiom versus Chase U, just because I'm such fans of that Nathan Frazier and Axiom tag team, and I gotta believe they're getting those belts back. But I mean, you've got the grudge match with Lee and Wentz, and that's also a hard thing to top. When it's nice when you have such a small match card, because then it's like nothing really feels like filler in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you could talk to 6 different people and get 6 different choices for the match they're most excited for.
Yeah, you know it's funny too. No, unrelated, but the 6 match card. It kind of reminds me of like UFC with the fight nights, and the main event is only like there's a 5 or 6 fight main card, and it's kind of like that's what WWE I feel like is doing right now with some of their products. And speaking of that, side thing, did you know the Bad Blood pay per view coming up is actually going to be like a 6 p.m. start?
I did not know that. That is very nice. And I hate to cut you off, but AJ says, let's go, Joe Hendry. And he says, Wendy Chu is going to bring it tonight.
Interesting about the Wendy Chu. We'll see. I don't know. I haven't necessarily. Maybe I'm sleeping on Wendy Chu. No disrespect to her former gimmick there. But I think I don't know. I'm going to go with Kalani Jordan, I think, here.
Ethan Page looks serious in this interview I'm watching. I can't hear it because obviously I have it turned down for the watch along. Wes is now X Division champion.
Yeah.
I think he means Wentz.
Yes. Zachary Wentz, yes. Yeah, Zach Wentz is now the X Division champion. He does have the title with him tonight, by the way, as well. So we'll see. I'd like to see him defend that title tonight. I'd like to see them turn this into a X Division championship match somehow.
Ooh, that would be interesting. I thought it was just interesting enough having him bring the X Division championship to NXT, but yeah, defending it as well. And then that feud could maybe continue on and go back towards Impact.
Yeah, I think that would be super cool to see that. I mean, again, I don't know. We got Adam in the comments here. I don't know what you think, but I think you've been talking about Joe Henry winning this championship. I want to see that. Joe wants to see that. But I just feel like Trick being the special referee is something's going to happen. And Joe Henry's not going to end up with the championship because there's going to be some kind of mistake. I don't know. I just got that feeling tonight.
Yeah, that curve of having Trick in there as the ref has you wondering, does he want to get it back off of Ethan Page himself? And it's not just getting it back off of anybody.
All right. We are, less than a minute away now?
I can't wait. I'm excited. We started this a little early, and it just feels like forever with no matches in the ring to talk about.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking in my mind. I was like, I don't want to do this again like this. 5 minutes next time, brother.
Lesson learned, definitely. But we are about to start.
Shawn Michaels. I know what he means by that. Kind of that thing we thought was going to happen with Seth at SummerSlam. Maybe tonight we'll see that with Trick, though, where he accidentally hits Joe Henry and has to make the count. All right. So it is 7 o'clock according to my phone. I don't know if where you're at. They're still talking right now on this pre-show. You, Joe?
Yeah, I got Sam Roberts here. Looks. I'd like to hope he's finishing up.
Yeah.
The show is just about to start. I'm very excited to see what match they go with first. They could start it off with the North American Championship for that matter. Start it off big with Obafemi here.
I got the copyright and NXT No Mercy next thing. What do you got here?
I'm still seeing them talk, so I'm going to be a little bit behind you. We won't worry about that as time goes on.
No, that's all right.
all the fun of watch-alongs with the lag that we deal with.
Mm-hmm. Roxanne is awesome. Not sure Jada is at that level yet. Yeah, I've been talking about that tonight, AJ. I think that the big thing with that is we're going to see maybe the debut of Julia or maybe Stephanie Vaquer coming in, but we'll see. Jada Parker was definitely looking at somebody after she knocked down Roxanne last week, though.
Yeah, like Jada's good, but I don't see her as that next thing.
Not yet. Not yet. You know, time will tell. All
Yeah,
right.
she could definitely get there because NXT has been good about building up the ladies that they use.
So we got a video package here now. Joe Henry coming out in the video package.
It's funny, these video packages are so grand. It almost feels like Joe Hendry is the next thing. And Jada and Lola are the next level down. Yeah, Jada and Lola are definitely definitely on the rise in NXT. Like Kalani Jordan was one that I didn't see her necessarily getting the title at that time, but they've been building these ladies up right. That I mean, Sol Ruka could be the next one to hit. Yeah, Joe Hendry tagged with the Hardys at the TNA Emergence pay-per-view on Friday night.
Yep, that TNA pay-per-view too. I'm gonna spoil a little bit here. If anyone hadn't seen it, but Nick Nemeth defeated Josh Alexander in an Iron Man match, and JBL came out at the end.
That is a big appearance especially for TNA.
Yeah, well, JBL making appearances everywhere these days, right? GCW, AAA, TNA.
Yep.
So
Really finally kind of branching out there.
yeah,
And it's good because I think he's known as like force in WWE and known as a big WWE wrestler. But he had a career before getting to WWE. And I think it's surprising to see the career expanding in the later half for him. This video at the beginning really doing a good job of covering all the main feuds in this event here.
Yeah, I heard JBL gave some very stiff clotheslines to Effie at GCW. Good crowd out there in Denver too.
Yeah, packed. I'd like to hope they're loud. I'd imagine they are.
See the championship belts. Oh, look at this. Vic is out in the Iowa here. That's interesting. Usually with NXT, it's always right with the right at the commentary desk. There's Booker T. Too.
Oh yeah, man, I like it. Got that catchphrase up on that paper.
What? Yeah.
Huh.
Oh man, we should have a Booker T photo up here.
Who are we starting?
Booker T, the only man I ever know who left broadcast on live pay-per-view one time to go take a piss. Shout out to the
around, and we are starting with just around what I thought we would start with, the tag team championships. And it's only because you want to start off the event with a good, fast-paced match. And especially NXT over the last couple of years, if Nathan Frazier and Axiom aren't kicking off an event against each other, they're on the same team doing it. So it's good to see them coming out first here.
AJ doesn't like Vic and Booker T. They talk over each other too much. You should hear that commentary team from New Heights Wrestling. They step on each other a lot too.
They talk over each other. They talk over the talent.
You name it.
Now, what do you think about Chase? You getting the titles a couple of weeks ago? I guess it made sense for the story they were telling, but they don't feel like a group that's going to hold the titles for a long time.
No, it was subtle, but Ridge Holland said, I'll have your back as long as we're tag team champions. And I thought when Ridge made that comment this week that was a tell that at some point when they lose these titles, he's going to turn on these guys. And I just feel like that's going to be tonight. I feel like this is going to be a short run. And I don't know. I see Ridge turning on his teammate here.
Now, overall, Chase U is not a bad group. It's just
so popular too.
Yeah, like if I were to see the tag team championships on any combination of Chase U, Riley Osborne, and Ridge Holland, maybe that. I'm trying to think who that other guy is in there with them. Duke Hudson, him and Ridge Holland would be a good tag team. It just with Andre Chase, he feels like he'd make a better manager for the team than one half of the tag team champions. Ridge is going to be a monster heel off of this. Have to agree.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
Wow.
It would make sense for some of the that would make sense for these two getting to or wanting to work together.
All right. So we're sticking with our predictions. We got Nathan Frazier and Axiom winning the tag titles tonight.
Yes, everybody watching, let us know in the comments, who do you have winning, Chase U or Nathan Frazier and Axiom?
The only thing is, like, I don't know who the next. I mean, I guess you got plenty of challengers. You could always kind of challenge for either one, right? Babyface or heel. There's always Gallus.
I'm going to say Hank and Tank make that next big run because they've been building them up big. They've mostly had them against the Good Brothers, but they would. I don't know. I just see them as the next tag team champions for some reason. They've got that. They're developmental enough where the title would make sense on them. Mm-hmm. And Nathan Frazier and Axiom, you could move them up to the main roster. You could keep them where they're at. They'd be fine in either spot.
Do you think we'll see some main roster talent come down as they get ready for CW?
Ooh, well, yeah, you already have it a little bit with CM Punk on that first show and Randy Orton on the second one. Frazier going with a heel turn, Chase U going over.
Interesting. I mean, they have teased Ascension on that team as well.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I've almost forgotten about that because it almost seemed like they had gotten their things together, but having already shown that fraction, it's like, where do you fully get that break? And then once you get the break, you get that awesome feud between them. So I'd be very interested in seeing that go forward. Just the power of Ridge Holland here.
Grabbing him by the neck and twirling him around. Butterfly suplex, perhaps? Yeah, nicely done. Less obvious. Might be a subtle twist as far as the heel thing goes. We shall see. I thought in some way the Ridge Holland thing was a little more subtle, only because I didn't hear a lot of people talking about it, but we shall see. What do you think about Andre Chase, too? I mean, I feel like the big thing with him is he's just really gotten his gimmick over, right?
100%. The guy's been wrestling for a while, and he definitely, I don't know what it is. Like, when I heard they brought him into NXT, I thought it was such a weird addition. But since he's been there, he's really made not only this position, but this group his own. And it's one of those things that I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he's done the best with what he's got.
Right. Like, I just look at him and, like, I don't know what else he would do. But he fits this gimmick. Like you just see that. I'm not saying he couldn't do something else, but maybe that's a credit to him because it's like all I see him as is just gimmick.
Yeah, and it's like he's a good enough wrestler. He has wrestled, so he's good enough to get in the ring, but he's really been nailing the manager part of it. So now he's like one of those real good utility players that could be a manager but get in the ring if needed. I really like what they're doing in the corner of the screen here, where on Raw and SmackDown, they will tell you what has already happened in the night. But now we are getting what is upcoming in the night, and it's a little touch to let you know what matches you might have missed.
Riley
Wow, getting all the dirt here. Riley also just married Blair Davenport.
Nicely done. Good for those two.
Riley Osborne is another one. I feel like he is going to go places here in NXT. Really been the standout member of this group, I think.
There's
Just
a hot
watching
tag for both sides.
difference.
Ooh, big stiff clothesline by Ridge Holland. And a belly-to-belly throw. I think it really is great what Holland has these guys that can bump for him, like Fraser and Axiom.
Yeah, because he's looking like such a monster coming in off that tag.
Love the updates. Keeps you motivated to watch and not change the channel. Yeah. I don't know why I read that so quietly.
It's like you're keeping it a secret or something.
I love the updates too. Ridge looking for that power slam. Nathan floats over. Blind tag by Axiom. To the top. He's caught.
God, at some point down the road, I feel like we could see Ridge Holland versus Brock Lesnar if he comes back. That would be a nice battle of two real big guys.
Yeah, Ridge, I would say his timing has improved with NXT. You know, maybe it's Fraser and Axiom are so good, but he's definitely looked better. Having a little trouble getting on the top rope here, though, as I say that. Diving headbutt.
I was going to say, I'm still amazed the diving headbutt is a thing that is used in wrestling.
That's the same thing, Joe. Whenever I see someone using the diving headbutts, I'm like, we haven't stopped with that move yet.
Maybe they have found a way to make it safer, though.
Nobody that uses that diving headbutt has had like a good, good career in terms of how they got out. All right, here we go. Ridge versus Obafemi. I think that could be fun.
That would be a big match too, yeah. I don't know if Ridge is taking on Tony D'Angelo, but I feel like size-wise, that would also be a good matchup. I love the tag team moves with Nathan Frazier and Axiom. That's why when they break up, obviously it's gonna be we're gonna be seeing it coming, but they are just such a good team together that they just seem to move so flawlessly.
Yeah, no, I'd like to see them on the main roster together as a team. I wish there's something about it, even though they don't like say have a tag team type name or they, dress this way. They fit like the Rockers.
Notice that when Nathan Frazier hit those ropes, Axiom kind of got crotched in the corner there. Spanish fly, I'm seeing out of the corner. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you.
You are. I see it now. There's a Spanish fly. Sit out power bomb by Chase.
And I hope that is just a blip in the story. Like, I hope that we are not accentuating the breakup of these two. Yeah, Tommy Billington using it as well.
Yeah.
I have really enjoyed Tommy Billington in AEW. I would like to hope he would sign because even the British Bulldogs as a tag team, him and his cousin are excellent. But just seeing how much he looks like his uncle and the fact you could do a modern day Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask thing with like a hologram or Commander or somebody, you could get like these new school throwbacks to things in history like that.
Got to see him develop in NXT. Honestly, Tommy Billington, he could be a fun guy wherever they put him right now. NXT, TNA, New Japan, AEW. But yeah,
I mean, as far as learning the game, I think the two best places he could end up are New Japan or NXT.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Ridge catches Nathan Frazier right now.
Ooh, catch an Axiom.
Actually, yeah, you're just a couple seconds ahead there. Oh, rams them both into the apron. Hologram is working as Axiom. I don't think so, AJ. I appreciate the scoop.
It is kind of close in the match, though.
All right. Oh, okay. They both kick Andre Chase. And here we go. Axiom on the top. Plus, there was a blind tag. There's a frog splash. Nathan Frazier. Oh, no. Axiom still going. Super kicks Ridge Holland.
Bam!
That's the springboard 450. Joe's a little bit ahead of me. Oh, not tonight, Andre Chase. I thought you were just doing a good job no selling, Joe. I thought it was over.
Well, it's one of those things. I'm reacting to what I'm seeing live, but I also don't want to tip off that lag too much. But that was something there. God, I'm surprised Nathan Frazier hasn't been bigger in NXT with how he fights. But he was big on NXT UK, I believe, for a while.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why he stayed a hidden gem for so long.
Duke Hudson could be used better. Oh, Doomsday Device. Oh, Nathan Frazier kicks out.
Duke Hudson could definitely be used better. I gotta agree with AJ with that.
Underutilized guys right now. Let's see. We're going NXT. I think Javon Evans was a guy I thought they were really pushing, but I think he could maybe get a better position soon.
Oh. He has moments. He had like his debut moment, and then he had another match that was like a big thing for him. And he's a guy I thought definitely, he was going to get that push right out of the gate there.
And Kyle Fletcher too, even though like he's constantly being mentioned, they haven't given him a lot of wins on AEW yet. So I'd like to see him get pushed. Just talking about people in general in the business now.
Yeah, Kyle Fletcher, they seem to have been using him to kind of prop up Will Ospreay in that last feud a little bit.
These guys
are having go back to being a tag team wrestler when Mark Davis comes back.
It'll be interesting. Yeah. I feel like this is Fletcher's really kind of outshined now and really should be a singles at this point. Nathan Frazier with that backflip. Oh, blind tag. Superplex by Nathan Frazier, who floats over. Oh, brainbuster super kick combo. AJ thinks Keshta could be used a little better, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they are kind of starting to use Takeshita better coming off that G1 run. Ooh. It's going to be a slow burn. It's not going to be right away. They're going to be using him in the right way.
Axiom just accidentally super kicked Nathan Frazier.
Oh.
Ridge Holland with the big clothesline. Nathan Frazier still out. Oh, jumping lung blower here. And now speaking. Oh, Axiom kicks out. Wow. Shit. I thought for sure. I was leaning towards AJ's prediction at that point. I thought, Nathan Frazier maybe with a turn.
I was about to talk over that pin there. We're actually a week away from AEW All Out in Chicago. Or I believe it's in Chicago.
Before this week, Shafir was probably underused.
Yeah, with her fighting pedigree, it's amazing that AEW hasn't found the right thing to do.
Well, she's being part of use that storyline as of this week with John Moxley. I don't know if you got to see that. So
I did, and that's why before that she would have been underused, and that I think is the right group to put her with, because if there was ever kind of a female member of the Blackpool Combat Club, it would definitely be her.
let's see if Moxley's still part of that BBC. Very interesting comments that this is no longer your company, and he hasn't been seen with any of those guys yet. All right, Andre Chase and Axiom on the top rope, a Spanish fly, this time by Axiom. Nathan Frazier on the other side.
I don't even know what you call that move.
450. We got new tag team champions, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thea Hale looks disappointed. According to AJ, you're going to be going home with the champ later, so I don't know. Riley Osborne's disappointed. Here comes Thea.
I mean, this really leads us to our next question. Who are the next people to step up for these championships? Will we see anything tonight, or will we have to wait till Tuesday night to get an indication of that?
Yeah, and I wonder too, like I said, I think Ridge is going to make the turn here at some point. Will it be right now? And AJ talking about the rumors that maybe we'll see Shane O'Mac in AEW with Moxley and company.
That's where I feel like that promo is going.
I have heard some other speculation. Perhaps Bloodsport's coming to AEW, people like Josh Barnett and stuff, and that's why they called out Darby Allin.
That could be interesting. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope for the sake of Bloodsport that doesn't happen, but
although, no, I mean, I don't think they're talking about necessarily getting rid of AJ Tank and Hank all the way, as we talked about earlier. So he'd like to see them challenge. Yeah. Oh, Ridge Holland. You know, looks like everything's okay so far. We shall see.
Oh,
Joe.
You don't know what happened?
I just saw what happened right now. Ridge just knocked them both out of the ring, knocked out Riley Osborne.
Oh, shit.
Thea, get out of there.
She moved in just enough time.
This man's crazy. He'll break your neck.
Let's see what he's mad at Sheamus about.
Oh, Riley Osborne.
Oh, man, AJ doesn't see Hank and Tank all the way.
I'm not kidding. Hank and Tank, baby, all the way. Security.
I'm trying to think what other big tag teams there are. Maybe two of the guys in the No Quarter Catch crew. Maybe two people out of the family.
Oh, look at this. Oh, just presses them right to the floor. Oh, get out of the way, guys. Commentary team, take a break. Ridge Holland's about to do his thing here. Oh, yeah, get out of there, Thea.
I really liked last year's No Mercy, where they had the old intro of the video game as the intro to the event. That was just something that was going through my head. This was a great match to kick this off, though.
It really is. And we got an angle, too. Oh, look at this. Ooh.
That did not look pretty.
No, it didn't.
But it was effective.
Ridge said that Thea Hale reminded him of a daughter he's got at home. Is this what you do in front of your daughter? You beat up the other kids? Oh,
no, they're bringing down the stretcher.
Oh, the stretcher.
Paul Rosenberg needs the stretcher now. And once again, I like these shorter shows because you can fit an angle in like this, and it doesn't have to be crammed between matches. It doesn't feel like the show's running long when you get this and then matches later. I really like this new WWE format. going to a commercial this October. I hope it's Halloween Havoc.
Gallus boys.
Oh yeah, I like it. Even though we're a little rusty at this, it is funny to get back at these live watch-alongs. We've had people in the comments, where you guys been all year?
All year.
Well, you know, since we disappeared.
Yeah.
We tried telling people, though, that summer season is no joke. We've considered next year taking the summer off. We've talked about filming things ahead. We've talked about that for 2 years now. We usually just ride that wave of summer, whatever it brings.
Crowd chanting one more time. So crowd was very pro the beatdown, apparently. I did hear something today, and I don't know if it was really just applying to the WWE audience or wrestling in general right now, but people seem more excited about the actual angle than anything else right now. Like they're waiting for the big storyline thing to turn and happen, you know, more so than rooting for like a baby face or a heel. They love, you know, when an angle comes up, and they always pop for the beatdown or whatever is about to happen.
I think that's a lot because, especially since Vince McMahon has left WWE, the storytelling has gotten so good that you want to see what that next turn to the story is. And there are places it's gotten good in AEW, but just WWE, it's next level. Now, since we got some time between matches, Dave, I don't believe we talked the Vince McMahon documentary coming out on Netflix on the show this week. What do you make of that documentary?
Don't know. I'm really curious to see what it ends up looking like, because the original documentary, Vince McMahon was actually, I think, being hands-on and a part of, but obviously that changed. You know, this is all going to be about his resignation. So I'm kind of hoping that we can almost get like two different feels. I'm almost kind of hoping we see how the original documentary was forming, and then, you know, see maybe a turn it probably took, you know?
Well, it was definitely that it's always been, I guess, about like trying to get an idea of who Vince McMahon is as a person. And there was interviews with him going into the investigation. So everything up to that, you're going to have things in his own words. It's always interesting to see how it either gets edited for or against Vince. But I think that that's going to interest a lot of people. I got to agree with AJ here that Pete Dunne and Ridge could be top heels. Did you see press last night? I did not.
No, well, I think it was actually technically in the afternoon, but yeah, I know they were asking Cody about that. Cody just said, you know, we're all busy doing our thing. It's hard to say. I don't know enough to comment about it. He said, but I'm sure I will watch the documentary at some point. So
yeah, and that's probably the most real answer you could give. I think it's kind of tough to ask these guys about it in a way because it's kind of an ongoing situation with their company. And, you know, obviously they're going to want to come out against Vince, but maybe they wouldn't come out. I don't know. I don't want to say as hard, but maybe there'll be degrees to how they react to it, given that Vince gave a lot of these guys their starts in the business.
Is the unified, you know, is the locker room unified against Vince? Are they all unanimous agree? And it's like, I don't imagine Cody can unanimously speak for the whole locker room anyway, you know? So it's also kind of a hard thing to answer, honestly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, you got to imagine it's almost like anything in life where I'm sure there are some people, I'm sure there's a good amount of people that are against. I'm sure there's some people that are in the middle or trying to stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure there's some people that are for him. As
Yeah.
wild as it is to think.
That was the first thing Cody actually said too before he answered. He said, Cody said, I'm in the busy of a rewatch of Game of Thrones right now too.
And that is a big series to try and get to.
So AJ did watch it last night or very early this morning, depending on how you look at that.
Well, it's tough because we always say how those day pay-per-views are good because they don't go as late as the night ones. But the tough part with the day pay-per-views is, especially like during the summer, we found it out last year with the Great Get Together and Money in the Bank that sometimes you're just doing other things, and even though it's convenient to be during the day,
Mhm.
you can't always make time for it. Do you find the same thing with those early UFC cards? Or are
Oh
those something that
yeah,
it's easy to make time for?
yeah. It's tough. I mean, it seems like I always have stuff going on because it's earlier in the day on a Saturday or Sunday where maybe you're doing family stuff or stuff with your friends, and yeah. So I think it's a little more challenging sometimes the early afternoon pay-per-views. I don't have a problem like with a 7 o'clock show like tonight on a Sunday though. I think that's perfect. Or
Next
even a
match
seven
we
o'clock.
have coming up, Wes Lee versus Zachary Wentz.
This is a great second match.
Yeah, it's good because you've got that story built in of the feud. It's the only non-title match of the show, so it's kind of a come down match in a way, I guess, but I would say you're picking up the pace with these two. They're both very high flying, very high energy, and I'm trying to remember who we picked for this.
I think we might have disagreed. I picked Wesley. I'm pretty sure.
I have the title off, so I was wondering if the tag team champions just relinquished their titles. But they're
No.
going through the storyline with Wesley
Right.
and Zachary Wentz here. Back when they
Just
were
like,
in SK.
you know what? We don't deserve this. Chase U wasn't at their best. Widge Curly had other. We just don't want it. Yeah, I'm leaning towards Wesley in this. Love the
Oh,
photo. He's going Wentz. I think he's thinking Wes again too, though. Wesley
yeah.
was the one who was in the cane.
AJ's going Wentz, though.
He's going Wentz.
Spell check has not been friendly to this man tonight.
Yes.
I'll tell you what has been friendly to us, though, and that's the watching audience out there.
Mm-hmm.
Got AJ holding it down in the comments. I haven't gone over to Instagram in a minute to look who's dropped in with us. Sass joined in for a minute there.
Sweet Sass.
Putting together a very special tag team episode for you, Dave. I'm going to have to send you the work in progress. I've been loving how this video is coming together.
As I continue to share some stuff in the late as we continue to go on here, Joe. I want people to know. Hey, on Facebook, on Twitter. All right. Check us out. Out here doing work. I wonder
Yeah,
if we see Trey Miguel tonight.
ooh, that would be a good addition to this, adding to that, that kind of that tension between the friends here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be curious to see if we get any Trey Miguel in this.
I was so disappointed when this split happened because I was so excited about the Rascals reunion.
The Rascal thing. Yeah.
And I heard it talked about on another podcast that it's something that the Rascals have been able to do their TNA clubhouse gimmick in NXT in a way. And
Right.
it's weird that intellectual property would carry over. It's good to see that now with Vince gone, we are seeing more openness to what they're allowing each company to share.
And there's Zachary Wentz with the TNA X Division Championship. Isn't that wild? I mean, we've seen it now. We've seen a couple TNA wrestlers with championship but it's still crazy to me just to see these titles out here.
If things had turned out a little bit different, we could have seen Riley Osborne win that X Division championship, but Zach Wentz came out on top with it. It was a great pay-per-view the other night for TNA. You know, kind of one of their fight night type pay-per-views. Like you said, they had an Iron Man match in the main event.
Well, I mean, if you're Zach Wentz too, I mean, to be back in WWE and NXT defending this TNA, well, not defending, but wrestling, as the X Division champion against Wesley, like this has to be a very exciting moment for you, considering where your career was a couple years ago when you left WWE.
Wesley making the entrance.
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling this match could steal the show tonight.
Oh yeah,
One of many matches that could.
This is why I thought this match might even go on first. Not that the tag team match wasn't great and they delivered, but these two definitely have the makings to steal the show.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. This could have been just as fast-paced of a match or just as good of a kickoff match for the show as that tag match was.
So, AJ, I'm sorry. So, Joe, are you picking Wentz here? I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm going to go Wentz. I can't remember what I said on the show yesterday. Or Friday. It's been a very long weekend. But I'm going to go Wentz, especially with that X Division championship.
How is West the heel? Wentz got booted for dressing like Hitler. Well, I don't think they've acknowledged that for storyline purposes. So, but
it is wild that you can use something like that and still come back from it.
It's crazy, but Zachary Wentz is the one that got fired, and you can see where maybe Wesley felt abandoned. So it is interesting that he ends up being the heel here, but he was the one that kicked him in his nuts after they did come back to support him. Anybody tuning in right now, feel free to tell us. Do you think Wentz is the baby face here in this situation? All right. Great.
The way these guys are going at it right now, this almost feels like they wanted to go in there and steal the show.
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes I've heard, the number 2 match is like the toughest position to be in. Well, I think these guys take it as an honor. I just saw a thing the other day on Instagram with WWE and showing some of the championship belts and stuff with the NFL they're doing. And there was this comment, pressure is a privilege. And I feel like these two probably relate to that, right? The pressure of going on right now in a second match. Like they probably look at it as a privilege.
Yeah, because especially knowing that they came into WWE together, that everything that happened with them, and then being able to get showcased like this, it's that chance to really show what they can do as a group. And I think in a way to show what's possible coming out of TNA. Because the Rascals were a big team in TNA year or 2, 3 years ago.
Oh, sure.
Before they came into WWE, however long ago it was like that.
And I would imagine if anyone dressed like Vince right now, they would be canceled. It would probably not be a good look for them. I wouldn't want to follow these two. Seriously, they both are great. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely going to be whoever comes out after this. I mean, after that tag match and now that's going to be a tough follow.
Who do you think it could be? I'm gonna call Obafemi and Tony D'Angelo after this one.
That's where I would go. I would do something different, right? You've already had all this great high flying action. I'd probably try to go with the power game next.
Ooh, that's tough, but you got 2 ladies matches and then that championship match. So maybe you do a ladies match, that Obafemi match, a ladies match, and then that main event. It's too tough to call right now. There's so many good matchups on this card.
Maybe we get 2 surprise appearances. Maybe a Stephanie Vaquera shows up in the NXT North American Women's Championship match and a Julia shows up in the women's title match.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I see one of those happening tonight and then one of those happening on NXT this week.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. If you want to make a splash sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Hey, here's a question for you. We're not very negative normally, and I don't know if this might be a little negative, but who would you say in the wrestling business right now is overrated? Like a guy who's maybe in a top position and there's nothing against him, but maybe they just don't do it for you.
Over.
Yeah, like somebody who's like, you know what?
It's been a minute since I've really enjoyed Seth Rollins. Like, I feel like he has earned that top spot. He definitely belongs at the top of WWE, but to me, it's decent enough. I think the personality he's used has gotten a little bit annoying. He's still top notch in the ring and going to give great matches, but just the overall presentation of Seth Rollins.
It's kind of funny. AJ brought up Mercedes, Moné, and that Britt Baker match after All In when I commented, who are people you think are overrated? Because I bet some people would say that about both of those women, maybe at least one of them.
Oh, yeah. Mercedes came in with a lot of hype. I feel like I don't know if she's necessarily delivered since being there. I feel like she could be more, I don't know, more dynamic, something a little more interesting.
That's a good one right here. Solo. You could definitely argue Solo feels like he's overrated in that group right now because it feels like Jacob Fatu's the star.
Yeah, until they brought Jacob Fatu in, I would have said Solo was perfect in that group. But now that you have him in the same group with a bigger, badder Samoan beast,
athletic, yeah,
he definitely feels like a tad overrated. Like, what's he doing to earn that head of the table for this current iteration of the Bloodline?
So anyone who's tuning in, so they don't think I'm an AEW hater too, because I love All In was like my favorite wrestling show of the year in terms of wrestling, bell to bell. WrestleMania maybe still for story wise, but those are my top two shows. But I'm gonna say for me personally, Jack Perry and the Bucks. Whenever I see them on TV right now, I'm just generally not interested in the match.
100%. Behind the scenes, I'm currently writing up something about tag team wrestling, and I talked about how there have been peaks and valleys in tag team wrestling. And when I think about when I got back into wrestling, the Young Bucks were one of those tag teams I found super exciting, because I had never really seen tag team wrestling like that in my whole history of watching wrestling. But now that we've seen them for a few years and seen the AEW presentation, it's kind of leveled them out. And yeah, Jack Perry, after that CM Punk thing, kind of really, he went away, so I don't think that helped him. And then he came back in like this middle to who cares spot.
Right. And I think he's being pushed as this main eventer, but I just don't see it. And, it's like I just feel like you're trying to capitalize on a backstage incident. And it's like it just doesn't do it for me.
And we're not trying to be negative. We try and talk as much positive about every company, because a while ago we said why talk about something that you don't like. But there are certain things in wrestling that you have to address, and AEW has some of those issues.
Yeah, it's just opinion, I and like AJ said, I thought All In was awesome. I did not care for the Britt Mercedes match, though. I would agree with him on that as well. But hey, we got time to fill, guys, so we're gonna talk about some different things here and there. This match is killing it, though.
Oh, yeah, and that's what these watch-alongs are like. This is not meant to be like a blow-by-blow of what you're seeing on the screen. This is sitting on the couch and watching an event with your friends. But we're all adults now, so you can't always find that time to get together with all your friends or to even watch wrestling. So it's kind of a place to come, talk wrestling, talk about what's on the screen, talk about what else we've liked as well.
100%.
That's why it's great to have AJ in the comments here.
Working challenge and Bryan Danielson, ridiculous. Yeah, and I think that's what really kind of kicked me off on that, is because it's not what I wanted to see for Bryan Danielson as a world champion and one of possibly his last matches as a full-time competitor. I don't think this will be his last match, but we are winding down. So it wasn't really what I wanted to see. That being said, I'll take it further. We'll go back to underrated, and I'll pose the question here: who are some of your favorite underrated wrestlers of all time? For me, Iron Anderson comes to mind immediately. I say underrated in terms of obviously Iron was well respected, but he never got that run as a world champion. And he's a guy that I would have loved to have seen get a run, at least one run as an NWA world champ.
Yeah, he was always in and around top spots, never had a top position. But I think if you talk to people and ask them if they enjoyed Arn, they would definitely bring him up. He definitely stood out amongst things. I'm trying to think other underrated wrestlers. I would say Dean Malenko in a way because he was such a good wrestler, but it took a while to get that recognition.
Maybe AJ mentioned Stan Hansen, Rick Martel flashbacks. I think you could go Rick Martel sometimes as underrated wrestler. He was really great bell to bell.
Yeah, because a lot of people might just think of him as, just the model in WWE, but he had an AWA championship run, had a career after that.
Look at this
AJ here saying Buddy Roberts.
Buddy Roberts of the Freebirds. He's got a point. Everybody talks Hayes and Gordy. Buddy was a solid competitor.
I'm trying to think if we're talking current underrated, who would be
current underrated. Who's the guy that's underrated right now currently? Not Tito Santana. Maybe underrated all the time. He's great. Appreciate you.
I'm going to say Charlie Dempsey because he definitely gets some credit, but we're seeing him pop up in other companies and make a run for it. And really just looks better than he should given his experience level.
By the way, another side note, just talking about underrated and overrated and guys that are kind of coming into their own. I'm really, really enjoying this Bronson Reed push of late too.
Oh, that Bronson Reed push is amazing. Really making somebody that kind of fell out of WWE at one time, got brought back, and now is being featured really like he should as a beast.
Okay, so here's a pet peeve of mine, and we see it in a lot of companies now. Like, I'm enjoying this match, but we've already had a table spot in the last match.
Yeah.
AJ, I'm going to totally 100% agree with that. Chad Gable still doesn't get what he deserves. Chad should be like a world championship match competitor as far as I'm concerned.
He's gotten featured better, but even now he's going up against the Wyatts, and for somebody of his credentials, you could say that he deserves better.
Oh yeah, for me personally, it's not what I want. I'd like to see him get more.
Well, great band once said, you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you might just get what you need. I don't know how that fits right now. We're kind of an hour into these watch-alongs. We're pulling for entertainment here. I love the Rolling Stones.
Super kick by Wesley. I'll go back to calling the action.
Oh, the table just collapsed.
The table's already fallen.
That's how powerful that kick is.
Booker T looking around like, what the fuck are we going to do now?
No, wow. Man, I hate it.
Not supposed to go through the table. He's still just going to do it.
You're about to be handicapped. No!
Oh, shit. Too many big spots with the table. I'll tell you another thing, too, I don't like is too many of the near falls nowadays, too. The desperation kickouts,
Yeah, if you do it in the right way, it feels dramatic. But when you do it too often, it leaves the crowd wondering what is going to be the actual end of the match.
If every match has a big spot, it takes it away from the wow. I agree with that. Oh, look at this. Wesley grabbing the X Division Championship.
Oh, tossing it on the ground.
Oh, he got the chair.
Disrespectful.
Very disrespectful. Oh, looking to put him out here.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, looks like Wesley.
Oh,
Oh, wow. What was that, like a Canadian destroyer off the apron onto the floor?
yeah, that was something.
That was some shit. I think your gentleman's picks of Wench is looking pretty good right now. Oh!
Bam.
Wow. Yeah.
That was a heck of a match for the second match of the show.
Yeah, I didn't see that Trey Miguel spot coming in. Look at Trey Miguel in tears here. I feel like this is probably very emotional for both of them. Bless these two. Look how happy they are.
That spot from the top rope to the floor there. I thought for sure Wesley was going to clobber him with this chair. Perfect timing.
Yeah, good to see. Yeah, what a performance. What a match by these two. And it's nice to see Wentz and Trey Miguel celebrating together. Partners celebrating the way they should. And look at Wesley. He's pissed. He's like, you bitches. How could you do this to me? You're the one who got fired. Funny thing is, at one point, Trey was the biggest star of all three. I could see that. But definitely not now.
Continuing this Bad Blood, the stakeout video. Interesting to have Metro Boomin in the car with Cody Rhodes. Doesn't get any more Atlanta than that.
Yeah, so this is going to be a 6 o'clock pay-per-view. And part of the reason is it's because it's the same night of UFC pay-per-view. And so they will be off the air and the pay-per-view will be done, including the, as AJ's talking about that right now, including the press conference will all be done before 10 o'clock.
Wow.
So, which is kind of cool if you guys like me and Joe who don't mind our pay-per-views ending a little earlier. You know?
I might do Bad Blood as the next watch along. Don't take our word for it, but
man, I might go with that, and then I might head over to Chevy's and watch a UFC pay-per-view.
so we'll talk about that. It looks like Bad Blood could be the next live watch along in the next match coming up.
You know, it'd be wild is if we did a watch along for that, and then I did a watch along with Chevy with the UFC right after. That's right, baby.
Yeah, now that summer's over, we're getting back into these watch alongs, getting back into doing it all for the creation.
7 hours would be a long time to be in this room, though.
Yeah, fuck that. You might want to open that window, put a fan up in there, do something. Get a cross breeze. This is a great video. I believe they ran it this week, highlighting Fallon Henley, JC Jane, and that other girl.
Yeah, that other one.
Something Nix, Jasmine Nix.
JC Jane is underrated. So our man in the comments here.
I could see that. It's tough because that NXT ladies division has so many ladies in it that it's like, yeah, Jasmine Nix. She's been rolling with JC Jane for a while. And they've been good, evil characters on this show. Never really highlighted in too big a way. Definitely good in the ring. You know, Fallon Henley had that run with Josh Briggs, kind of breaking off on her own now. You've got Sol Ruka, Lola Vice not on this show. Huge names not on this show right now.
Yeah, I'm very interested.
They're the group of Fatal Influence.
Fatal Influence, who we could be seeing on the main roster at some point. Any of those girls. I see Obafemi coming out here, video package.
Yeah, this is a guy we've talked about how great Obafemi is. Just this monster. Could have fit in Vince McMahon's WWE, WWF.
Oh, sure.
Has been great in NXT here. And it's been great that they've had time to, you know, have him learn in under NXT. Because he's a guy that could have been forced to the main roster and could have been green and kind of like middle of the road. But instead, they've just really slowly built him up. North American Championship fits him.
You know, talking about the difference of like companies and stuff too. Just again, this observation. If you're a guy like Obafemi, I would say now there's guys like Will Ospreay who I think are doing awesome, and I love to see in AEW. But a guy like Obafemi wouldn't be a guy I would want there. For whatever reason, I just don't see a lot of big muscle guys getting well booked in that company. You know, whether you're a Brian Cage, whether you're a Wardlow, who was the closest thing at one point, or a Lance Archer. You know, Obafemi, I think he does great here. I think he does great in Impact. I think he does great in New Japan, but he's not going to have the same success as somebody who's a smaller, better worker in like AEW, I think.
Yeah, one part of it is definitely being a muscle guy. And then the next part of it is he is still so green that not having that huge structure to build him up hurting him. I got to agree with AJ. It kind of has like the Biggie NXT build up.
Yeah, I agree. Keith Lee is another big guy who hasn't really done much in AEW. He didn't really do much in NXT, or I should say main roster WWE either. I think partly because of Vince and partly because he got sick. But for whatever reason, Keith Lee has just not done what we all thought he would.
Yeah, we've got an Instagram video playing here from Hank and Tank. I got to imagine they could be talking about going for those tag team championships. Can't tell with the sound down though.
Oh yeah, definitely looking at those NXT Tag Team Championships. I got a little bit of closed caption on here, so
Ooh,
I can see that.
shit, fancy.
Yeah.
There
Here's
he is.
Henry. All right, talking it over with the ref, Trick Williams. No dirty stuff, Joe. Down the middle. Don't be cheating.
You know how we do it. Yeah, speaking of our numbers definitely dipped for June and July of this year. August came back to be better than July. And I see things only picking up in September, and this show is only picking up with Wendy Chu. It was a weird character before it got to get this like darker slant to it. It's weird, but I enjoy it.
She's really kind of played nothing but weird, strange characters since being NXT. She was, I believe, the old lady at one time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was that old lady. Then she was like just a sleepy girl who was like just wandering around everywhere with a pillow, and now she's like the zombie chick, you know. What she got here? She's got like a
Character.
dead people on the pillow here. What you doing, girl? Girl, freaky. I mean, I gotta give her credit. She puts her all in whatever characters they give her. I wonder what the background of a Wendy Chu is. What'd she do?
Asian.
Thank you. That's not quite what I meant.
We ain't guessing for Kalani Jordan. That would just be wrong.
No.
North American champion. She was definitely like, I think, a track and field athlete they covered on one of the past NXTs. She was definitely, I think, I say definitely, I believe she was one of the first from the NXT NIL program.
Well, she was on the independent wrestling circuit in 2014. She was trained by Johnny Rods. So she did that. And April 17th, she began appearing with Ring of Honor at Survival of the Fittest. She lost to Deonna Purrazzo in a no disqualification match.
What was her name back then?
Backing up here. She adopted the ring name Karen Q.
Okay. I think I remember the name. I don't know if I remember seeing her wrestle.
Interesting. Yeah. So she has a wrestling background, so it is interesting. But she's got into these characters. AJ
being funny here.
Trained by martial artist by Beverly Hills Ninja. Very good. Just actually saw some stuff with Chris Farley recently. One of the all-time great comedic actors, by the way.
Speaking of SNL, I'm very interested in that SNL movie coming out about the creation of SNL.
All right, look at the two girls moving fast here. Looks like we did not go with that Obafemi Tony D'Angelo in the third spot like we were thinking.
No.
I guess it was to get the ladies on.
But the way these ladies are going here, this almost has a hot start. I think like the Wentz and Lee match, where they're really turning it up, trying to give us some, high impact moves, really show what they got early on. WWE No Mercy, one of the great all-time wrestling video games out there for the N64.
Never a bad time for Farley.
Well, there was that one time.
A couple bad times.
It started off good.
Yeah.
Look at the athleticism from Kalani Jordan here. I've never been like a huge fan of hers. Never hated her, but like we're really seeing some athletic moves out of her here.
Yeah. Yeah, she's grown on me since winning this North American Women's Champion.
You always say that getting the championship makes you better, and I think she's definitely grown into it. She probably had it in her, but we're just seeing her more as a champion now that she's actually wrestling with it.
Mm-hmm. Going here. What are we getting here? Oh, Wendy Chu moving out of the way. I always enjoy those. They just get out of the way of stuff. Samoa Joe's the best of that. Just the casual walking away from the high spot.
Oh, rolling through with the pin there.
That Rowdy Piper Bret Hart spot. Nice drop kick. Yeah, a lot of fast-paced action from these two. AJ said these two can go. Big super kick by Kalani Jordan.
Cartwheel, nice backflip there. I'm really glad we decided to come back with this event because it just felt like the thing's breezing by so far. We're halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely does not feel with it. It definitely doesn't feel like it. Spit in her face, it looked like there.
AJ, it was great to see Rosemary this week. That it was. I would have liked to seen her get a little more offense or maybe booked a little, but it was nice to see her on NXT. And I was saying before the show started, AJ, I'm hoping maybe we get something else here with Wendy Chu. Maybe someone else from the Undead, maybe a Havoc or something.
Yeah, Rosemary, Havoc, and Wendy Chu would be quite the team.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Havoc's doing these days, though. I don't know what character she's doing, though.
Yeah, I don't tune into TNA very regularly. Every once in a while, I'll hear there's a match I got to check out, and I try and watch it. But she was definitely always a centerpiece of that knockouts division. She could do good in NXT, like now that Vince is gone, and because he wouldn't have appreciated her body type, but I think she could really come in as a monster heel
Oh yeah, for
and
sure.
do some damage.
I think too. One thing I thought about. I don't know if we talked about this a lot, but I do think NXT is almost using TNA as like another part feeder system, like where they have a lot of people, men and women, who've wrestled a long time there, and so they put some of their younger talent on that show. If you notice, usually.
Yeah, they're using their lesser known talent, giving them chances in TNA, which is great. Yeah, because I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago with NXT being able to use Joe Hendry. What is the advantage of this partnership? Because you could definitely see where it's working out for Joe Hendry, but I almost feel like that could kill TNA in a way. But then TNA is getting this talent from NXT, their younger talent, getting able to mix them in, getting a Charlie Dempsey, and at a point like tonight, getting their X Division Championship on a WWE PLE.
1,000%. TNA is getting a ton of free publicity here, basically. And I like AJ's comment here in comparison. This is the equivalent to the TBS title, and considering the experience, these two are killing it. Talking
Yeah,
about
very much so. I feel like that match for the TBS championship was good, but this feels great. This feels like more bang for your buck. This feels more worth your time. That's a very good point by AJ.
Wendy Chu looking for the springboard clothesline in the corner. Su Young was another one of those undead commodities too in TNA at one point.
Oh yeah, she was great there.
Mm-hmm. Kalani, sunset flip. I thought it'd be cool to see someone get pinned with the sunset flip. Don't see that too often.
No, not nowadays.
One thing I liked about talking about yesterday, Gunther beats Randy Orton in a great match, praised by everybody. The finish, a sleeper hold.
Yeah, I think we had it going in the group chat about how Gunther is such a great throwback wrestler, such a classic that you can have him win with a simple match like that or a simple move like that.
Yeah. Sleeper hold, a power driver, a clothesline, you name it. All right, Winnie True has Kalani Jordan in the possible tree of wool here. Oh, Kalani fires back. Gets up. Oh, both take each other down with a clothesline. The crowd seems to be loving this match too. I'm seeing people clapping and cheering. No, not tired from the previous matches or anything. Still staying with us. I think that shows, how hot NXT is right now. That they have this good of a crowd here in Denver, and the fans are with it. Kalani firing up here. Cartwheel gets caught. Windy Chu with a German release.
Yeah, I think it's definitely helped that WWE has worked on the pacing of their shows and gotten it to a point where they don't feel like they drag.
Kalani with a springboard elbow in the middle of the ring. Nip up. Ducks the kick. Ooh, comes back with another spin wheel kick. Constant motion, this Kalani Jordan. Oh, Windy Chu. Comes out from behind. Kalani. DDT.
Holding on. Boom.
Oh. With a face plant. Hooks the leg. No. Jordan has been doing this less than 2 years. That's pretty wild. Definitely when you think about the experience level of Kalani Jordan, that is wild. Less than 2 years, and here we are.
It makes you wonder, who does that say more about, WWE as a trainer or Kalani Jordan as an athlete?
I think you got to say a little bit of both. Like, it's great that she's in that awesome training system, but you still have to perform. It's like anybody, you're given the ball in life sometimes, you still got to actually score,
100%.
How many people, in your life maybe that were given opportunities that you weren't, and you've seen plenty of them fail, but then you have some people that take advantage. So, oh, 2.5.
Just getting out there.
That's a nice frog splash too.
Big
Good
air.
elevation. I mean, she's a great athlete, so that's definitely helping her cause out. Ooh, when Ichu takes her down. And now we're out here on the floor.
Ooh, suplex on the mats there.
If I didn't just see her in Ring of Honor, I'd say Abaddon would be another one I'd like to see with Wendy Chu.
Oh yeah, especially with the way they do the makeup. That's
Yeah.
definitely another character that would fit. Abaddon's somebody that I would say underrated, not nearly used enough.
Mm-hmm. Power bomb by Wendy Chu.
Rolling her through here.
Ooh,
Big slam.
Didn't see that coming. Not a knock on Wendy Chu, but I don't think a full Nelson slam with a grows about 5'4", 5'5" is a move I would be doing, but whatever. Each his own.
As good as this match has been in Wendy Chu's favor, I feel like somehow Kalani's getting the win.
Yeah, well, Kalani, yeah.
Stunner on those ropes there.
Ropes. Kalani going to the top here.
Wow, Roxanne Perez is 3 years younger than Jordan.
Oh, that's interesting. But that's, Roxanne, like they say in the gimmick, but it's really the truth. She's a prodigy. She's also been doing this for a long time, too.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why NXT is so good. You have so many good athletes that are so young that it's like some are already where they need to be.
Ooh.
Some are ahead of their time and doing well. And just let these ladies, ooh, that was not pretty.
No, a little botch there. But now we'll see how they recover, what they can do. Wendy Chu going right for that sleeper hold Cobra clutch $1 million dream style here. Interesting. Wendy Chu. Hey, we've seen this effective. Gunther beat Orton with this yesterday. Sweat's AJ points out Sweat is making the rope slippery. That's a great point. That is going to happen. We've seen that happen before in other promotions as well. So no knock on these two ladies. But to me, it's all about how you recover. And you know what? They didn't stop. So good on them.
Yeah, because things are going to happen in matches. People will remember the botch, but it's like if you act like something happened wrong, then it just calls more attention to it than needs to be.
Yeah, don't look lost out there. They kept going. So I give them a lot of credit. Roxanne at 16. I think it was even younger, AJ. I think you're right. I think that's when they had her have matches, but I think I heard a story where she actually was getting in the ring before that, but not taking bumps. They had her just putting on headlocks on people and kind of getting a feel before that.
Kalani Jordan getting the win.
Oh, I'm about to watch this now. Split-legged moonsault. And I believe Joe said it already. Kalani Jordan with a big victory.
Halfway through the event at 8:15. Gotta love these early pay-per-views.
I'm going to adjust this a little bit here for me.
He's in a hot room, folks. Let him do what he needs.
Mm-hmm. Mind your own business. I don't want Booker getting in trouble.
Mm.
Yes, Booker might have had Roxanne Perez in his school before she was 16. I've heard it. But I think she had to sign a waiver, and I think her parents were very well aware.
I think that's another one of the things about not taking bumps too, is maybe you can be in here younger, you can learn the form, but we're not going to be slamming you around and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was. And I think then when she was 16.
Ooh, very interesting here. Sneaking in on Wendy Chu.
Oh, yeah.
Good old what's her name?
Yeah, she was just on TNA pay-per-view too.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Tatum Paxley.
There it is. She started at 13, then with Booker at 16.
16. Okay. That's incredible.
We've heard it from a lot of wrestlers. We talked with a young wrestler out of Florida, Kelly Clark, who started young. You know, it's all about being able to find a school that's willing to train you, having parents that are willing to allow you to go to the school.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of good wrestlers at that young age if they stick with it.
Tatum Paxley, by the way, actually, a lot of her character is a tribute to Daphne, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. I'm seeing a SmackDown advertisement. So this week will be the last SmackDown ever on Fox. Coincidentally, they're also going to be an AEW Collision and Rampage and a AEW preview of All Out, the Road to All Out or whatever, right after Rampage. So AEW has a huge block this week. So there's going to be a lot of wrestling this coming Friday.
I know. I think that's going to be my first big night in Maine this week. So I'm going to look forward to watching that out in the woods. Tatum is really good also, AJ says. Gotta agree with him there.
You know, and she's getting experience working in TNA, working here, and all good stuff. You know, Jada Parker, I think there is something to her. I just don't think she's ready yet for this.
Yeah, she's definitely got something. She's another one of those characters, almost like I don't want to use Obafemi as the comparison, but you know, those characters that it's good that they're in NXT because they're in the perfect place right now. If you tried having her like on Raw or SmackDown, it would feel like undercooked. Maybe Jada Parker was the other athlete I was thinking about because I'm watching her play. I'll call it soccer. Others around the world will call it football.
Oh, yeah.
Big hip attack. A lot of great female athletes in the women's division. You got Lash Legend that came out of the WNBA. So it's a good mix of, you know, ladies that have come up in the business and then ladies that have come over from other sports and applied that athleticism. That was a hell of a smack right there.
I was also looking up previously in our previous conversation about Wendy Chu, even though she did wrestle in 2014, she did have a career as she got a scholarship for volleyball at Queens College.
So. Okay. So, yeah, I think I was thinking that well. And here you see Wolfgang seeing that Hank and Tank think they should get the shot in there. Wolfgang making a case for Gallus. So probably we'll see something about that on Tuesday. And once again, Ridge Holland shit canning his friends.
They didn't make the cut. You bitch.
Fuck you. Get your hands off me.
You're fired. You're fired as my friends.
And then the first table spot of the night. I don't think I even realized that the table didn't break there.
Yeah, that's funny. And then later on, of course, Wesley just gave it a little kick.
Just give it a little kick.
It was just like, I set it up for you, brother. Oh, yeah. Get Andre Chase out of here. This man gambled the school's money. He's no hero.
Mish Holland in the dark recesses. This dude just hit his friends. He almost hit Thea Hale, and you could chase this man down for an interview? Fuck that.
Yeah.
Put it in front of that camera that everybody gets. Ooh, next match coming up. Very interesting. Taking a minute for the graphic to switch over here.
Tony D'Angelo, Obafemi. All right,
Now
now Joe, you picked an upset here, right? You picked Tony D'Angelo.
I believe I did, yeah. Because it was one of those things when he won the Heritage Cup, it was cool. It gave him something, but I didn't feel like the Heritage Cup fit him.
No.
Now, the North American Championship, I don't know necessarily if you take it off Obafemi, but I can see Tony D'Angelo with the North American Championship a little more than I can see the Heritage Cup.
I believe one of these said too is you think bigger and better things for Obafemi, and you're going to see him move on, maybe a main roster. I kind of see that happening at some point, but I think the thing is with the CW launch coming, I think you want big stars that are like homegrown talent. You know, I think you want somebody like an Obafemi who really gives your product a different look.
Yeah, because Tony D'Angelo will still have a place on that show. He's always good in like the kind of some of the skits around the show. He has great matches, but him and his group as a character really, really works.
And he was an NXT tag team champion at one point too. So he's already had 2 championships in NXT too.
Yeah, honestly, the weirdest person to see wrestle out of that whole group is Rizzo, the female.
Here he comes, Obafemi, baby. This guy, I'll tell you, he's one that's really, really, really grown on me. I really like this guy.
Yeah, at first I think I just saw him as like a big muscle man, somebody that like, oh, this seems like a guy that WWE would want to get over. But then you see him as he wrestles and you're like, all right, I can get into it. And then getting that North American Championship, you're like, all right, I can see this guy as the guy.
Oh, look at this guy. He's just got an intensity about him.
Definitely an unmatched charisma.
A physical charisma.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of like we're hearing a lot of people talk about with Psycho Sid. Like, you know, Sid wasn't the greatest interview or something, but he had a physical charisma about him.
Yeah, and even though this guy is green, he looks like he could be a champion for years. Tony D'Angelo warming up.
Femi forever. Somebody's got a sign there. That's awesome.
I like that we had that big tie up and no one man got the advantage there.
Yep.
Finally, Femi gets the side headlock.
Now, this is interesting because these two are definitely inexperienced talents, too.
Yeah, definitely on the newer end of things, and definitely two of the standouts from, you know, some of the more recent classes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo's a guy who's won me over a period of time.
Yeah, because at first you see him and you just see the mob gimmick. I believe he was like a former collegiate wrestler. And I don't know if I'm only reading that into things because of that nice double leg takedown he had there.
Collegiate wrestler, no doubt.
I don't know if it's something they tried working into the story at one time.
Smooth as hell.
Nice German there.
Actually, I just think that's funny. Oh, nice flying forearm. Shades of Tito Santana. German suplex. Tony D'Angelo rocking and rolling here. Clotheslines the big man over the top. Look at Tony riling up this crowd. I can only assume. They could be booing for all I know.
I mean, we talk all the time about the size of Obafemi, but Tony D'Angelo is not much smaller than him.
No.
Giving up some mass, giving up some height, but still comparable size.
Yep. Femi rams D'Angelo into the corner.
I love we're getting those results in the corner down there.
European uppercut. D'Angelo behind. Obi breaks the grip. Oba, excuse me. Obi.
Obi-Wan Femi. Now that move didn't. I couldn't tell what happened there. It was like it seemed like a disjointed move between the two that left Tony D'Angelo on the ground.
Yeah.
I don't know if commentary explained it. I almost thought that D'Angelo was going for sympathy and was gonna pounce on him.
Right. But it was kind of odd just the way it all happened. So I was wondering if he got hurt. Huh?
That's why it's tough sometimes when you've got the sound down.
Mm-hmm.
Are we seeing a replay of that there?
They ain't showing you no real. Maybe they will. Okay, so this might be something legit here. Let's see.
Looked inconclusive to me.
What if he... Oh, he stepped on the right foot of Obafemi and turned the ankle.
Oh, okay, shit.
So we'd have to watch that again, but yeah. So that was interesting. That's where the old the words on the screen help there. I'm blanking out.
Subtitles.
Closed caption.
I
got closed caption on, so I was able to read that. Well, whatever it is, it looks like D'Angelo is back here. So, it might be one of those things where he twisted the ankle a bit, but it's not injured,
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's ruined anything in the match for him yet. If anything, that headlock that Obafemi had on him right after that did some damage. Obafemi holding his head like he's dizzy or something.
Oh, God!
Hits him with it, sitting on his face. 2 count.
There you go. Yeah, I see what you mean there. Sit on his face. Let him know. Let him know you the man now, Oba.
Yes, if you've never watched our watch-alongs, they're definitely unconventional, but it's fun. It's like sitting on the couch next to us, watching the event. We're probably a little cleaner here because we have to be on camera, but it's always a fun time.
Reminiscent of Outback Jack, by the way. In case you didn't know what Outback Jack's finishing hold was, I do.
This man is a broadcast journalist.
That's right.
What do you want, Thor girl?
Tie my kangaroo down, folks. Tie my kangaroo down.
Stepping on the neck of D'Angelo.
Let him know. Let him know, Elba. I never noticed he had a little fur on his boots. Look like lion fur. Guess he's like the king of the jungle, right? The king of the jungle, like the king of the jungle of NXT,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never noticed the fur on the boots either.
Tony D'Angelo's the Don of NXT,
Got those nice pants.
Nice pants, yeah.
With the suspenders.
That was quite an impressive strength there, just to pick him up in the shoulder breaker like he did.
Yeah,
He
immediately
just
going for that pin.
snapped Tony D'Angelo up. I wonder if this is one of the longer matches Obafemi has. I can't think of too many long matches he's had.
Yeah, this is feeling on the longer side of things.
Maybe Wes Lee was a longer one, but Wes Lee was able to do a lot more bumping for him.
Yeah, plus you've got like, I don't know, maybe it feels different when there's more of that disparity in sizes.
Right. And Wes Lee, he's a guy that's wrestled for a lot longer, so he could carry that match if he had to.
Yeah, this isn't a bad match, but if you're feeling the drag of any match on the show, I think this is the first one that feels longer. It's still great, though.
You can see there's a few things that are a little clunky, and I do wonder if part of that is this is the most that's ever been asked for Oba,
Yeah, and putting him in there with somebody of equivalent skill as well.
Yeah.
Dropping him on his head.
Oh, man. So Tony gets that DDT on the apron there. Wonder if we'll get some interference.
Very well could be. You've got those members of the family on the outside there.
Big belly-to-belly overhead. What's great athleticism by Obafemi, too, to take that bump.
Oh, yeah. Especially for a man of his size.
Mm-hmm. He's a guy I wouldn't mind seeing get some time in TNA, too, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of big matchups you could set him up with. I'd love to see him go over there with that North American Championship. Let that thing get some time on TNA.
Mm-hmm. See him like in a monstrous ball or something. It's PCO.
Almost a fisherman suplex there, but rolling through with it.
PCO would definitely be an interesting matchup for a guy like Obafemi.
Oh yeah, similar sizes. Given definitely PCO has the experience to lead that match with these two.
Oh yeah. Gets out a choke slam. Oh, trading big punches, these two. Power slam by D'Angelo. D'Angelo fired up. He wants that North American. It's actually interesting that we've had both North American titles back to back, too.
Ooh, big electric chair dump there. Yeah, obviously the men's has been around a little longer. Kalani Jordan, the first women, so that's why it's good to see her retain that.
Hate the Don gimmick. It's dated. AJ, I would concur with that, although I do have to say Tony D'Angelo plays it very, very well. But for the longest time, I've just not been into this guy. He's actually run me over recently. But I don't know. I'm just not a fan of these two having a long match. But obviously they love D'Angelo. So, he had a crowbar.
I really ended up liking the Don gimmick when he went up against Ilya Dragunov, and they did a lot of those backstage segments. Mm-hmm. That's where it really came around for me. It definitely feels like a mid-90s almost occupation type character.
Sure.
But it's done well, so.
Oh, big spear. I think the one thing I've learned about NXT is, you got some good wrestling here and stuff too, but it's really all about character. Like they're really trying to develop you with a character. So if they got something they can bring out of you, awesome. If not, we're going to try to get something for you. Nothing against them. I think we can do better with this group. We already had the FBI. What a power bomb throw. I love that move by Obafemi. Big old spit falling from his mouth, letting you know I'm a man. Another power bomb there. Oh, Tony D'Angelo counters. Both men go out here, clothesline. Oh, there's a big chop. Reminds me of someone with Big Show Paul White used to do that. Power bomb.
Thought for sure it was over there.
D'Angelo kicks out again. He is not going to just be pushed around here. Again, I think this, the only complaint I would have is I just feel like one thing about Tony D'Angelo, he's always been put in there prior to guys that like Charlie Dempsey, Dragunov, guys that can really, Carmelo, most of them have great, great matches,
These two are almost too stylistically the same, could you say?
Yeah, the two stylists are the same, and they're both just too green. You need someone who can really kind of lead them still. And to AJ's point, they have made Tony strong. They clearly care about that. So here we go. Spine buster by Tony D'Angelo.
Yeah, because the match has been decent enough. It feels like it's been a tad too long for me. And the way it's going, I don't know who's going to come out on top. They've both kind of had moments.
Femi crush them. Like, I would have had Tony and everybody try to beat him up, and then Oba comes out and then, like, spears them all, power bombs, gets to win. But that's because I'm a big believer what they were doing with Obafemi. But it's clearly very important that they keep Tony D'Angelo strong for them.
Oh, looks like we could be coming closer to the end here with Femi.
I think so. Another power bomb by Femi. Looks like he's setting him up. I don't know where you're at, but another sit-out power bomb. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Obafemi still your North American champion.
Yeah, because you got to figure if somebody's going to take it off of him, it's got to make that next person. And who could be in that position to take out Obafemi? Maybe that's something like a Javon Edwards could come in and do the upset on, or trying to think who else is kind of coming up that could get featured in that spot.
Javon Evans would be a huge upset. Yeah, that's one we could definitely do. I was actually thinking about that the other day.
Or even Bull Buchanan's son there could, possibly somehow match up and get it.
Problem is the other matches have been awesome. This is a good match. Yeah, I can say
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, like nothing against the match, but everything else has been to such a high rate that this has just been good. Obafemi versus Omos.
I would actually really like to see that on something like the debut of NXT on the CW. Maybe a big surprise. Omos comes out, and then Obafemi still goes over. All right, so we only have 2 more matches.
Yeah, gotta have a feeling that Roxanne Perez is going to be next.
Yeah, I think you have to finish with Joe Henry and Ethan Page, unless there's going to be, a lot of stuff going on with Joe Henry and Ethan Page, and we're going to have a big surprise at the end of Roxanne and Jada, then maybe that would kind of lead your hand a little bit there, I think, though. But I think Joe Henry and Ethan Page is clearly the bigger match. Maybe because I think Joe Henry's been such a hot commodity for somebody who's not even technically signed to WWE right now.
Yeah, that's just having him in the match, I think, makes it the main event. If it's not the main event, then he is not winning. I feel like that's something you want to send the people home with happy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. We'll see what they do. And you can't have a babyface win every single time. So, but I'd like to see Joe Henry with that championship, especially again going into CW and seeing something like that. Like this, they got this Michael Cole going out of control here for everything.
Yeah, I don't even have the sound on, but one thing I'm taking away from this is just how night and day it's been since Vince has left, and the commentary has gotten so much more comfortable, so much better, so much more entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Cole, like for years, probably caught the brunt of the criticism for WWE, but him along with Pat McAfee has really just made like a modern bright spot.
When is the last time someone outside WWE had a shot at a title?
Did when Jim Cornette was coming in with Smoky Mountain tag teams, maybe they were defending NWA titles, so that wouldn't work.
I mean,
Probably sometime back in the WWF when they had like the super shows where you get like Harley Race versus Bob Backlund.
yeah, I think you might be onto something with that Smoky Mountain thing with the Heavenly Bodies. They might have gotten a WWE tag. I feel like they did at a SummerSlam against the Steiners.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if they were coming in for WWE or if they were defending NWA titles in WWE.
Yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, obviously Jordan Grace, right, too. But I'm thinking now there was that whole incident where they had a WWE contracted wrestler, Taz, win the ECW title over a WCW contracted wrestler, Mike Awesome.
That could be another one.
That was a late 90s thing, but that wasn't going technically after a WWE title, though. So
Great
and
Braun.
it might not have been Starman, but the Heavenly Bodies, who were part of Smoky Mountain, did wrestle the Steiner brothers at SummerSlam, who were the tag champions at the time. So that could have been it. AJ says he thought that was for the NWA titles. No, not at that point. This is actually 93 WWE. That was on the awful Lex Luger versus Yokozuna SummerSlam. But there is a little bit of a Easter egg there. I don't know if it's called Easter egg, but people forget a little hidden gem, I guess would be a better way of saying it. The Steiner brothers versus the Heavenly Bodies is on that pay-per-view. Let's see how right I am. I'm gonna look this up while we're doing our shit here. I believe that was SummerSlam 93. All right. Let's see here. No, not 92, you pricks.
Intercontinental #1 contendership tournament continues tomorrow.
Yep, that should be fun. Results. The Steiner brothers defeated the Heavenly Bodies, and they were the WWE Tag Team Champions. The only thing I can't say for sure is that the Heavenly Bodies weren't under contract for WWE already at that point. AJ already looking it up with me. It is 93. Yep. Ethan Page in the back here. Trick letting them know, hey, man, I'm going to call it down the middle.
Building up the tension.
Mm-hmm.
What are the words saying, Dave?
I'm reading it. Ethan says this thing's a bigger joke than you being NXT champion. Trick's basically saying you're going to abide by my rules.
Told him to get fucked.
Yeah, that's actually what he said. He said, get fucked. You got a problem with me, bitch. All right, so Zachary Wentz, AJ letting us know he said he believes in Joe Henry, which I do believe that probably was one of the things he said. And Wentz is basically talking about putting our former best friend in the rearview mirror, but I don't see that being the case here. Time to look for the future. We keep moving on.
Like, if these guys aren't going to wrestle together, I want to see them going adversarially down the road at each other.
Oh, so they're actually mentioning, though, they'd like to face Nathan and Axiom as well, though.
Ooh, so yet another tag team putting themselves in contention in the hat for the tag team championship, which is good to hear. Roxanne Perez, Jada Parker next. 2 more matches. Great night.
Take a water break here.
Do what you got to do. You've been going 2 hours strong.
X Division title match.
Maybe that's something that could be down the line coming at TNA.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you could have all Rascals involved in a 3-way for the X Division Championship on an NXT or TNA pay-per-view.
Yeah, I believe they're going to be setting up for Bound for Glory, their biggest show of the year, coming up soon.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we'll get a big surprise in this one. I feel like I just got a hunch that Roxanne Perez is probably going to drop the title at the debut of the CW because you want to do some big things for that show. And I feel like Roxanne is ready to move up the ladder and go to the main roster. So I think a Julia or a Stephanie Vaquer showing up tonight, and then that sets up the debut on the CW. That would be what I'd like to see maybe happen.
Yeah, because look at the list of accomplishments they put up for Roxanne that she's done in WWE in the time she's been here. She's still super young and still has those accomplishments under her belt. So that is something to be said.
AJ, how bright is Roxanne's future? I would say very bright. I think that especially in a Triple H run WWE, I don't know if Vince would have saw much for her.
I'd say her future's so bright. I got to put on sunglasses. So let me run and get a pair. I will be right back.
Make sure medicated. I feel bad for Cora Jade. She's getting injury prone, but was on a similar path. Yeah, I would agree with that, AJ. I mean, Cora Jade definitely looked at one point like she had a bright future too, but hopefully she can get back on that winning way, and we'll see. Cora Jade right now. I'm sorry, Cora Jade. You everything about Cora Jade. Jada Parker right now, talking all that trash as she gets ready to come out here. She's fired up. I think that's one thing I do like about Jada Parker. She does present herself with believable confidence, despite only doing this for a little bit of time. This is clearly the biggest spotlight she's ever been on a premium live event in a women's championship match. And I'm curious to see how she does in this type of situation with the pressure on her. I don't know. I mean, I think she'll do well because you're in there with a pro like Roxanne, too, who can really carry the match if you have to as well. As Joe gets ready to get back on here. Just needs to work on a ring rate. Yeah, that's going to be time, But her presentation coming out here, she looks like a star right now. I'll give her that. And here comes the prodigy, Roxanne Perez, who has been tearing it up since she got to WWE. NXT Women's Champion, former Ring of Honor Women's Champion.
When was the last time a women's wrestler has had this kind of hold on the industry, and especially this young? Because she's young, but I feel like she's been a top commodity for last 5 years.
Yeah, Roxanne has what they call it. Yeah, I mean, she's definitely what she was just on recently on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine cover too.
Yep.
Yeah, she's definitely got that star coming up factor. I think the stuff with Jordan Grace coming over from TNA has been helpful for her. So she just continues to get this spotlight. And we haven't even really seen her get a full run on the main roster yet. And I feel like that's just around the corner. Yeah, I can't think of anybody that's come on this strong so fast at a very, very young age in women's wrestling. Maybe AJ will.
Well, it's tough because over the years you wouldn't have seen many, because with the hold that Moolah had over the industry, she wouldn't have let a lot of ladies in. Like, you could argue Sherry Martel could have been up there.
Yeah. Well, there's
Maybe a Wendy Richter. Billy Starks is one recently that she had been like, oh, Paige as well, yeah.
Yeah. So I was trying to think of like Banks, Becky, Charlotte, Bailey, but they were all a little older. I think they're all in their mid-20s when they started getting their push. Roxanne Perez.
So smooth in there.
Yeah. One thing I think great about NXT, and we saw this with Braun Breaker and we've seen Roxanne Perez, is truly a developmental league. A lot of people thought Braun Breaker was ready for the main roster earlier, but he spent a lot of time playing a baby face and a heel, tag teams, really getting everything. And we've seen that with Roxanne, where she's been a baby face for a while and now a heel. AJ talking about Sky Blue and Julia Hart. I don't think they have the same technical prowess of a Roxanne Perez. But they
have shown something in a short amount of time, so I got them there. But yeah, just not quite to the level of Roxanne Perez.
Oh, there's a little Deonna Purrazzo bow for you there, huh?
Oh, yeah. That's another one. I feel like she's gotten lost in the mix in AEW. I was so excited when she went there because I thought her involvement in the ladies division was really going to legitimize it. You've got her, Serena Deeb, but just the way Tony does things, it hasn't quite come out like that.
Slapping Jada in the face. Jada firing up here. Sky is a better worker than Julia, but Julia has a presence. Sky Blue on that injured reserve right now, though. I don't know what's going on with Julia Hart. Jada got in the ropes here. One thing I like about Jada Parker here is she takes her time right now with a lot of stuff that she's doing. So she's not doing anything that she's not capable of.
And she's looking good. Powerful shoulder blocks there.
She's got a pro like Roxanne who's bumping for her, really knowing how to work this match. Here we go. Butterfly suplex, nicely done. Again, Jada doing her part here, right? She's not doing anything she can't do. And Roxanne frustrating her. I love the story of the match. Keeps slipping in and out of the ring. So even though Roxanne Perez is shorter, we're going to play into the fact here that she's more experienced. And Joe seeing something. Oh, caught. There's that power by Jada Parker. Great timing by everybody involved.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that.
Walking up in the steps.
Oh.
Roxanne Perez getting the elbow, drops her face first on those steps.
Rolling in the ring just long enough to break up that count.
Yeah. Roll back out to continue to take advantage of the work she's done. Julia injured her shoulder in a title match, finished, and then dropped the belt in a separate match. Just had surgery in July. Shout out to Julia. Roxanne Perez working over Jada Parker here. Jada Parker on the outside, trying to recover. Story of the match here so far to me is Jada's tried to use some power, but in the end, Roxanne Perez's experience has been the biggest factor so far. Now we'll test the heart of Jada Parker here. Sky Blue's boyfriend is Kyle Fletcher. AJ continuing to come up tonight when it comes to the relationships in the wrestling business, letting us know who's dating who. Where's Randy Osgood at tonight, huh? Roxanne killing it. Yeah, she is. Shades of Kevin Sullivan with a double stomp to the midsection.
We've had a lot of wrestling losses lately.
Yeah.
Kevin Sullivan, I mean, I don't want to outshine anybody else's legacy, but that was just, I felt like a big one for me, the amount of wrestling knowledge that died with him. Same with the Samoans because they taught as well, but Kevin Sullivan was just that endless fountain of knowledge that you could hear a lot of what he thought about on shoot interviews, on produced TV shows, or on his own podcast.
The 105, another one AJ talking about, obviously Sid, the Samoans, like Joe just said, Kevin Sullivan. But yeah, I would say Kevin Sullivan definitely. I've listened to some stuff with him recently, just after his passing, some interviews he's done. And yeah, what a really, really smart guy. Roxanne Perez continuing to work over Jada Parker here. Got Jada in the ropes on the outside.
I was wondering what he was going for there. I was worried she was almost going to pull her through the ropes and DDT her from the ropes to the floor there. I didn't know what to expect.
No, we're keeping it simple. Good heel work, using the ropes, to get the advantage. It does really show you how smooth Roxanne is in the ring. Now trying to put on a abdominal stretch here.
Attacking those already taped ribs of Jada Parker.
Mm-hmm. Check Taskmaster Talks podcast he did for a couple of years. I think he did that with a wrestling historian there on Instagram, didn't he?
I believe so. I can't remember who he did it with. I heard him years ago on MLW radio. Anytime you can find a podcast appearance with Kevin Sullivan, he's dropping knowledge of some sort.
The way she uses her size is Size difference is brilliant. Yeah, that's one thing I've really liked here too. Just constantly, you know, despite the fact she's a heel, you think you get her cheers. She's almost working from underneath, but she's still doing it in a heel way. There's just subtle little things where she uses the ropes and these little arrogant smiles. And Jada's showing the fire as she comes back with the ribs. And there was a little headbutt in the midsection. Nice European uppercut.
Even though I wasn't like hugely excited for this match going into this, it has over delivered, I thought. And for me, it was just I didn't see Jada Parker as the most interesting opponent.
No, they're telling a good story despite the size difference of her fighting underneath right now, too, having to fire back. Now, they're really making her look like somebody who has good heart. You can take a beating, keep coming. I think this is the most I've really ever seen out of Jada Parker. And again, that can't be coincidental that it's with Roxanne Perez in the ring. She caught the foot. Begging off. Great heel work. I just love her expressions. Sit out power bomb.
So close.
I almost thought just as a goof, if anybody was actually listening to us who wasn't able to watch the show, I'd be like, that's it, new champ. She won? Yeah, she did. Jada Parker.
Then they watch it on Tuesday, like, no, the Working Fans podcast would never lie to me.
They lied. Yes, they did. He lied. Oh, man.
We're definitely having a fun time on our return to the live watch-alongs here.
Jada Parker firing up right now.
If I wasn't on vacation next week, I would almost try an AEW live watch-along.
Oh, yeah, the All Out. I think I had plans that night, too, though. I thought about that. So it's on a Saturday, I believe.
Oh, is it? I thought it was Sunday.
They usually are, but I think this one is. Well, they kept saying last night on Collision a week from tonight. So.
Oh, maybe it is on a Saturday. Either way, I'm still going to be in the woods of Maine. Maybe I'll do something on TikTok for y'all. We'll see. But I think we're going to call it the next official one, Bad Blood.
Yeah.
All right, we're locked in, folks.
Bad Blood.
It's a blood oath. Metro Boomin, Cody Rhodes, we coming for you. Be great if we could have AJ in the comments as well. AJ has been keeping the conversation moving with us, giving us a lot of facts that we didn't necessarily know.
Yeah. Sleuth reporter in the scene.
Breaking news.
Big
chop in that midsection.
Big chops in the midsection. Oh man, the breaking news bit. I forgot about that.
We've had so many great bits over our 5 years, 6 years coming up this year. Or no, is it 5 years coming up this year? I get lost.
Ooh. Dropping that ass right on her. I don't know. How else would you describe that? Let's look at all ass right to the midsection.
There's no better way to describe it.
I don't think there is.
I'm going to have to see that again just for reference purposes.
Oh, the ribs gave out as she was going for a suplex. She's grabbing the ribs. That's why you don't go for that kind of power move. You just drop the ass. Roxanne trying to go for a submission. Jada's countering. Oh,
I got you, girl. About to break your shit.
Oh, yeah. Jada's got her now. What? Oh, reverse suplex.
Got it. Close. Oh, shit.
Rolled her up. Oh. Oh, we got a submission. This might be where Joe is. That bastard.
She's sticking a thumb in her rib. She's sticking a thumb in her rib.
I see the elbows in the ribs. The elbows in the ribs. Oh. Jada looks out.
Fighting her way out of that. Damn. She's looking strong in this match.
Yeah, they're doing
she ain't going to win it. She's looking good.
Carrying her around with her. Look at that. I like to look at her face.
If you're watching this event, there's a big guy in a Roman Reigns shirt, like center of the frame, that's making me laugh. Oh, he's sitting down now. He's got his hands on his head. He can't believe it. He's wearing red. You'll see him. Roll up.
There we go. Mahistra Cradle.
Oh, shit. Up and over.
To the midsection.
Ass on ass. Oh.
Ass on ass. Roxanne is on the outside now. You can't win the title by a count out, Jada. What are you doing? You got to get out there. You need this championship.
Oh! How strong is your ass? Does your ass break walls?
Sit on those ribs. I see that lady in the red shirt was out there like, oh, shit. Jada time. I said Jada time. Come on, Jada.
That Come was on, almost Jada. Not pretty there.
Jada. What happened, Jada?
Get it, girl.
Got that cold red.
Girl. I like it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I think I've really been missing, having the volume turned down, is missing that Booker T commentary.
Mm. Couldn't help but notice.
Yeah.
Roxanne is selling her back too. I hope she didn't actually hurt herself for real. Oh. She got her.
That was a well-fought match there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I not to pick on that last match, but I enjoyed that way more than the Obafemi Tony D'Angelo match. And I think partly is we had somebody really great like Roxanne kind of helping lead the younger talent.
Yeah, it always, like, it's great to have two new people in there, but I think it almost serves as a come down match of types, because a match like this, you had, like you said, somebody more advanced versus somebody green, and they were able to carry the match. Obviously, we had some ugly spots in there, but Roxanne comes out on top. Let my man swallow his water. Don't rush him.
I'm going to mute this for a second. You guys don't need to hear this shit. It's personal shit. Hold on a second.
He's about to burp his shit. Up. It looks like we got the lights going out. Roxanne looks scared. You know who comes out of the dark? People from Japan.
The boogeyman. Shut up.
Are you saying Japanese people are like boogeymen? I don't even know if Julie is Japanese.
I don't know if she's Japanese either. She gained most of her success over there.
I'm guessing. Yeah, it's Julia. I wasn't sure. Julia's sweating it out. Looking like she walked all the way over from Japan.
Yeah.
I'm very confused. Hugging that title.
In NXT. That's awesome.
Well, I think we know what Dave's short of the night is going to be. Take a picture. Get it.
See Roxanne clutching that title. That's a pro move too, by the way. I love that Roxanne does that. She's showing the concern, really putting over the new star.
And once again, leaving us something else to look forward to this week. Face to face with the championship. So we know what we're going to see. Dave thinks on the first edition of NXT, I would say got to be the next NXT pay-per-view that we'd be building up for, but we are building up for the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Advertisement for WWE Speed here. They are still doing this. Got a women's tournament now. I like that they've kept it going, even though I haven't watched it. I think just it being exclusively on the X platform, I'm not on X a ton. We'll post stuff on there, but I think it's good that they have it, but it's definitely keeping it away from your average viewer. Here we got Javon here getting a special video package.
Yeah, like Javon. All right, Joe, I'm going to take a bathroom break. I will return.
All right, well, I'll keep bringing the fire here. And while Dave is in the bathroom, why don't we play a commercial for one of our favorite sponsors? If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store. And here is an intro, a little commercial for the Working Fans podcast that gets played on a lot of New Heights wrestling events, but we don't get to see it a ton here. And I'm going to play it for you right now because it makes Dave and I laugh every time.
Hey fans, it's the man they call Dave with producer Joe, and you probably know us as the commentary team for New Heights Pro Wrestling, but when we're not doing that, we got a podcast.
That is the Working Fans podcast, where we talk pro wrestling, comedy, MMA, and so much more.
And tell them about that signature segment.
Oh, you talk about the 531?
You know I am.
That is a homegrown creation that has been our namesake. And if you want to know our namesake, we got Chevy, AJ Strange Brew, as well as the two of us.
And why don't you go to our channel, like, subscribe, show us some love.
Rate, review, all of it. Always a fun commercial to watch here. And watching this video on here, I'm actually reading a GoFundMe for a friend from high school that died. Always sad to see people you grow up with die. It sounds like Dave's coming back into the room, so that is awesome. We're going to play one more commercial before we have Dave back on the mic.
Read about the Northern Wrestling Federation in the book presented by Russellville.com, The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 2. Hear the story of Roger Ruffin, the man who trained Carl Anderson, the Monster Abyss, Jordan Clearwater, Chris Harris, and Jillian Hall.
Plus 45 other short stories, including Jazz, Bobby Eaton, Kamala, Thunder Rosa, Mario Mancini, Scott Casey, PJ Black, Kerry Morton, Sal Renaro, Jeremiah Plunkett, Colby Carino, Bam Bam Malone, and many others.
Get your book today at Russellville.com. Russellville. It's where wrestling lives.
Da Vinci.
Mm-hmm. There you go. We returned from that quick commercial break to we're watching some commercials for NXT. We got a Giovanni Vinci return video there. Very interesting to see.
It's Friday. He says it's not his return, it's his arrival. What do you think about Da Vinci, huh? Has he just not fit in with Imperium? So we were doing this? Like, what's the deal with this guy?
I thought they worked well as a three-man group, but it definitely did seem like Ludwig Kaiser got featured a little more.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do something like that, why not break Vinci off on his own?
We're talking about the CW October 1st.
Month away, debuting with CM Punk in Chicago. A week later, Randy Orton in St. Louis.
Joe, do you like having all the shows on USA Network for 1 month at least?
Yeah, I mean, I like having them on different networks. It kind of I love that response from AJ. I like having things on different networks, but having it in one place makes it easier.
Right.
At least, for the average viewer.
Yeah, like selfishly, it's nice, right? A little bit,
Yeah, because when they have it on different things, I mean, like we've talked about with coming up with CW, that for once is going to be on a channel that I'm not regularly able to watch. So when you do put things on different channels, you do run that risk of having that one program that people might not be able to see.
Easier to set my VCR.
If only we were back in the 90s.
Whoever wins the main event tonight will defend the NXT champion as part of our launch show in Chicago.
Nice.
So that's what
there you see Hank and Tank versus the Rascals versus Gallus. Number 1 contendership this Tuesday.
Yeah.
Orville Mensa versus Lexis King this Tuesday. I like that the pay-per-view is setting up things for Tuesday, letting us know what we have looking at us.
Well, we got stuff to set up for. We got to set up for a big CW show. We got a Halloween Havoc we got to set up for. Trick Williams versus Pete Dunne this Tuesday.
That is going to be a hell of a match on Tuesday. But the thing we've been setting up for a while, the thing we've been leading our night up to.
AJ also said both teams are losing to the Rascals that he mentioned. I agree with that. I think the Rascals are going to win. I think Wesley is not done with Wentz and Miguel, though. I think he will cost them that tag title shot when they get it. If you're Ethan Page, you got to be happy about the move to NXT, huh?
Oh, 100%. You went as from a forgotten commodity in AEW,
Right.
where, I mean, when he got there, it looked like he was going to be a star there. And then coming to NXT as a surprise, knocking it out of the park since he's been in NXT.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I mean, Ethan, I thought, was great in Impact before he got to AEW, but he just never really seemed to get his shot in AEW. He had a relationship with Scorpio Sky, but it just never really seemed to work out. But now here he is in NXT as a champ, taking on Joe Henry, who's really set the whole world on fire.
Yeah, showing the reactions of when he landed in NXT. Every week since he's been in NXT, the responses just seem to get bigger and bigger.
AJ pointed out how great is Ethan Page. We all saw his ability. AJ also asking the question, when can we expect Ricky Starks?
That is a good question. Is he officially done with AEW yet?
I have no idea.
I would think a good time would be close to the debut on CW. You know, if not even the first or second week, maybe that third week, fourth week.
Well, Trick Williams. So they said whoever walks out as champ is going to be going to defend that in Chicago. I got to think that could be Trick Williams.
You think so?
maybe Ricky Starks shows up there and costs Trick.
But how does Trick get himself to a championship match before Chicago?
Oh, maybe that match with Pete Dunne could end up being when it goes on.
Contendership.
Yeah. I wonder if they don't even set up Halloween Havoc until after that show.
I could see it. I mean, it's not till October 18th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that even checks out. I think it's mid-October, so they definitely have time.
Talk about a guy with it and not fully used. Cody doesn't forget his friends, though. So. I'm thinking here. I'm going to look this up here. So NXT No Mercies tonight, obviously. Ugh. We got Bad Blood coming up October. And then Halloween Havoc will be October 27th. All
Oh,
right.
26th?
27th, I believe, right? What I said? So.
How often does the guest ref get this nice an entrance?
What? Yeah.
I like it. I mean, we saw it since Bridgeport last year. The crowd loves Trick Williams.
Yeah.
We knew it was only a matter of time before he was going to become champion. I'm surprised he lost it when he did.
Right.
You do got to feel like it's got to be coming back into his grasp sometime soon, though.
He got a referee's whistle?
I don't know.
I thought it was a chain, but he looked like he had in his mouth like he was going to blow on it.
Pause.
He's got like an earpiece and stuff. I guess a lot of referees do. This is pretty noticeable though. Dancing with the ring announcer.
Yeah, a lot of referees definitely have those nowadays. Trying to keep an eye out for this whistle.
Let's see.
If only the closed captions talked about how loud a pop there was right now.
It's Gold Man's a baller. It's gold. Man. Oh, it's gold. Man's a baller. Ethan Page coming out second because he is the champion.
I mean, just watching this, Hendry is going to be good whether he wins the championship or not.
Look at the crowd.
Like, when you see something like this, you feel like he's got to win it, but he's also over to a point where win it, not win it, I think he's still gonna be fine.
It was big there, going bananas.
Ethan Page, you got to wonder what his career is going to be like in NXT after he loses that championship. What is his direction? Is it going to fit, kind of the momentum he had before that?
Yeah, I'd be really curious what they do with Ethan Page because he's a guy that could be lost or you could really move him up too, AJ letting us know how home life is going. Turned it up to piss off my wife. Nice to see Steph is still very supportive.
And I hope that couch is comfy if you have to sleep there tonight. Tell you who's not sleeping on a couch, though, is Ethan Page.
Oh, hell no. Ethan Page. Bringing home the money. Threatening kids.
Yeah, slap. Show him what it is.
Look at Trick Williams looking at him like, I can't believe this shit. Didn't work. She believes in Joe Henry. Who knew?
Oh.
Like to think she was about ready to cuss him out, and it was like, I believe in Joe Henry.
Clap, clap. Who is this guy? This is catchy.
Yeah. London and Tokyo.
Yeah, I feel like the one thing this match doesn't need is a special referee.
Don't know why.
You know what I mean? It's already big before you get to Trick Williams in there.
I just like the referee shirt is all open and stuff. Imagine if this was like any other referee. Jacked, oiled up. Yeah, what's up?
He's like, nah, I got an oversized shirt. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it open. What? I can button these buttons if I want to. They ain't even gonna pop off.
Is it a ring announcer matching page? Oh, maybe he caught on to something here. Maybe she's going to help Ethan Page pull this off.
I guess she's got a funky jacket there.
There we go. The NXT Championship.
Main event time.
Main event, baby. All the marbles. The title match.
Ready to cap off a great Labor Day weekend here.
I haven't felt this kind of energy since I saw Suicidal Soldier versus Treat or Die.
A classic in any town if there ever was one.
Crowd is chanting, "We believe." Crowd chanting, "Whoop that trick now." I can see that.
I bet there's a couple people in the crowd chanting, "Handle that, handle that."
Maybe.
Big lockup here.
Oh.
Big fans of New Heights Wrestling. We're joking around because it's Sunday night. We're having fun.
That's what you want to do with any podcast watch along. Just make inside jokes that only me and you are going to laugh at.
While you were in the bathroom, you missed it. I played our New Heights commercial.
Would be the second Scots. Not sure.
I'm totally missing what he's saying there.
Yeah, I don't know that one, AJ. I'm sorry.
Oh, second Scots because of Joe Hendry being Scottish.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe they're talking about as far as NXT champions, because was Drew?
Oh yeah, yep, Drew was.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you want, bro? You jumping up here? Thor is not jumping up here.
Would be the second Scotsman to win the world championship. Oh, win the world championship just this year. So yes, because Drew McIntyre did have the championship for a little bit before he got cashed in on at WrestleMania. AJ letting you know exactly what he thinks. The NXT is a world championship. Developmental brand, my ass.
Well, it does have that weird thing where, like, NXT, I feel like a couple of years ago when they were that, like, super indie, that it had a world championship feel then, and then you had the problems of the NXT 2.0 that hurt perception of it. But even though they have gone back to like a developmental brand, I would argue that Ethan Page has really made it feel like a world championship.
Oh, sure.
And if Joe Hendry wins it, does that make it even more so?
Former Impact World Champion. Absolutely. They have a TV deal and are bringing in stars. Yeah. I mean, I'm joking around a little bit, but because again, it's more of an inside joke with me and AJ because we always used to argue about what recognizes a world champion. But yeah, I mean, how would you not consider that like a huge win for like 90% of the people in the wrestling business? Like, who wouldn't love to be the NXT champion? You know, very few, I would imagine, there's very few main event level guys who would, you know, snub that.
And even if they are like a B level company within the WWE banner, it's still under the WWE banner. So they're still, you know, top notch in the world.
Look at this power. That is just walking around. Look at even Trick Williams counting over here.
I know for the people saying that Joe Hendry doesn't get it done in the ring.
And Joe Henry, to his credit, I mean, he's under a TNA contract. He's taken independent dates. And since he started working with NXT, he's talked about it. Like, he has a deal where he gets to go down there and use the Performance Center all the time. Like, he's spending, like, you know, I think he's down there pretty much all during the week. So good on him.
Yeah, even if he doesn't become a champion, he's definitely, you know, getting the benefits of being in that NXT system. And you got to feel down the road at some point he's got to sign.
2 Scottish women had world tag titles till lost last night. Yeah. Alba Fire and Iodon, tag champs no more.
It's great to see other countries represented in WWE since that, you know, they've done it at times where they featured people from other countries, but it's nice to see a real variety to it as of late.
I think it's been really cool just to see all the international pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, especially the result. Like, you saw Bash in Berlin, you got such a response from that crowd. We saw it with AEW, how that English crowd, they bring a different flavor to their chants. There's a different, you know, enthusiasm in the way that the crowd responds. That's great.
We had Clash at the Castle this year too.
We've got Crown Jewel coming up.
Yeah, I want to say there was another European event too that I'm forgetting about too. Oh, no, there was one in Spain.
Spain?
There was an event in Spain. I don't remember which one it was, but they were in Spain this year at one point too. Gotta make me do my research here, brother. Don't think I won't.
I remember Puerto Rico of last year.
Oh yeah, Puerto Rico was there.
Kaiser is one of the underrated wrestlers.
Clash of the Castle. We had that in Scotland. King and Queen of the Ring. Where was that? That was Saudi Arabia. Oh, we had Backlash in France.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But that was a big event too. Yeah, so Backlash in France. We had Clash of the Castle in Scotland. We had Germany. We had AEW All in the UK. Saudi Arabia is still getting events. So yeah, it's pretty wild. And they had house shows in Mexico.
Yeah, right around the time that they got Stephanie Verkaric.
Right, because she showed up there. Yeah.
If this were an AEW pay-per-view, we'd be close to gassing out by now, but luckily...
It'll also be 2 hours later.
Yeah. I was going to say NXT, it's the right time frame for us to be jumping back into these watch-alongs.
Oh, so AJ Kaiser is one of the underrated wrestlers. I could see that. He's impressed me. Like, his matches with Sheamus have been really good. Sheamus has been really good in this late resurgence in his career at this point in his life.
Yeah, it's surprising at times because you'd think like he's been in the WWE for so long, like how could he be interesting, yet he finds ways to
Yeah.
reinvent himself or make himself, interesting again.
I love that power slam off the top rope by Ethan Page. Reminds me of Cowboy Bob Orton. That was a guy who was ahead of his time. Hooks the leg. Ethan Page. Dragging Joe Henry to the corner. We're getting a high-risk move out of Ethan Page here.
Quite possibly. So far, we haven't really seen any funny business with Trick, surprisingly. Calling it down the middle, but when you have that guest referee, it's always going to be what is going to be that tipping point.
Joe Henry firing off with a European uppercut. Oh, follow away slam off the top rope by Joe Henry. Shades of Scott Hall. I remember Razor Ramon always used to like to go up to that second rope and pick people up off the top rope and give them that fall away slam.
Ethan Page getting out of the ring quickly, though.
Like that, I don't know if that was a tope. He kind of just like pole vaulted like over the top rope there.
That's interesting. Yeah, almost did like a high jump over the top rope.
Survivor Series in Vancouver this year. Yeah, we had another event too. Money in the Bank was in Canada too this year. So Ethan, oh, there's that all eagle right to the apron there. That's a devastating looking move.
Moves to the apron made famous by Kevin Owens in NXT.
Mm-hmm. Look at Trick. He looks like he doesn't want to count.
Yeah, I'll count at my own speed. Don't you
Mm-hmm.
tell me what to do. I know how to count to 5.
9.
6 comes next.
All right. Hey, are those closed fists? Be careful, Trick. Get in there. See Trick and
Hard right hands to the top of the head.
arguing a bit here.
I think he's calling him some salacious names.
They have
None that we're going to repeat here on the podcast, but use your imagination. I bet he's saying it.
Joe Henry. He's got him up. He got his own little razor's edge here. Oh, and he hits it. Goes for the cover. 3, got him. New champ. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
I'm behind just enough where I'm like, oh, I guess we got a new champ. Shit.
Nah. Yeah, somehow I lapped you. Huh? I got slightly ahead all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've had a couple points where the iPad froze for a second, and in the past I've just like I exited out and then got back in there. Yeah, seen a lot of Scott Hall references in this match.
Yeah, both guys big fans.
You know who else is big fans? The Working Fans podcast.
Another European uppercut. Joe Henry firing up. Chop. European uppercut. Right hands, chops. Here we go. Now Henry firing off with the uppercuts. Big clothesline.
Good back and forth sequence here.
Dave would have been way more excited. Oh, yeah. Scott Hall was here.
This has been quite exciting for an event, though.
6 game ups, and you guys are on fire. Joe Henry, that patented Joe Henry choke slam. Going for the cover.
Came up in, you guys are on fire. So that means he's had one of each flavor, and now he's trying. Now he's going back again and getting the flavors once again. I bet he started with fruit punch.
Oh, he definitely did. Then he probably went to lemon lime.
Mhm.
Maybe grape after that. Ethan Page with a choke slam. Trick Williams out. We got another ref in. Gotta stay hydrated. These two guys are trying to stay hydrated.
No! Shoulder up just in time. Ethan Page, super sad.
Ethan Page.
I don't know, though. You know what happens anytime we get these extra reps in?
Oh, yeah.
We can get the good old dusty finish.
Ooh. Joe Henry just got DDT'd on the
Oh,
title.
so close. Yeah, I'm definitely a little behind. Oh, shit!
Wait a minute. We got an argument here. Trick is saying I'm the referee. Joe.
What a way to break up that pin.
Oh.
This may be salacious, but I think Trick Williams broke up that pin with his dick. It looks like the ref went to like get it and then just caught mid thigh. Ow! You just hit an official. Man, this is like the Dandy family got involved or something. Kind of chicanery.
Oh man, I don't know where you're at, Joe, but you're about to see it.
Yeah. Trick is so sad.
You said this would probably be kind of a SummerSlam finish, and it was. Trick forced the count down. Look at Ethan Page with that look.
That was a heck of a power bomb, though, throwing Joe Hendry right on his shoulders.
Ethan Page is so good at playing an asshole. You really got to give it to him. He just has that look on his face.
And it's one of those things that the loss isn't going to hurt Joe Hendry. Like, obviously, it would have benefited him to become champ. Everybody would have popped. But you get just as much storyline coming out of it with him not being champion. Ethan Page demanding his arm to be raised.
Thumbs up.
Do we see anything more, or do I play the final commercial for the night?
Oh, I'll wait here. I'll wait to see. You know NXT. You got to be careful.
That was a hell of an event. We had great matches.
Yeah, Julia showed up.
Title changes, debuts. Everything you could really want in a premium live event. Great way to kick off September.
And there, Trick Williams breaking up the pin. He's like, listen, man, I got hit. I'm the referee. I got this. Oh.
See? Stopped it with his dick. What you doing? You touching me? This man touched my dick. You gonna let that happen? Boom, ducks. Hit that man. Get my shit done for me.
Joe Henry got kicked in the dick.
And just watch this throw.
Boom. Oh, there you go. Walking out of here with the title. Oh, Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne from behind on Trick Williams. Joe's about to probably see this now.
Yep, so we're setting up that match for Tuesday. That's great. Getting that bitter end on the outside.
And then Ethan Page, big smile on his face.
I like it because it's really reestablishing Pete Dunne to that brutal character that he was before. Like, they're really making an effort to get him out of that Butch.
Yeah. Butch no more. All right. We got a NXT copyright up.
Well, like we said, the next live watch along presented by Game Up Hard Hydration will be Bad Blood. Butch no more, but what I'll tell you there is plenty more of is Game Up Hard Hydration. If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up at drinkgameup.com or at your nearest liquor store.